Well, my biddies, how are you today? I hope you all had a good weekend. Sorry about Friday. Forgot it was a holiday. And my husband would be all up in my face all day. And he was. It was annoying. More annoying on Saturday. He thinks because he doesn't get anything to done all week that I should have to be up doing things when he's doing things, it seems like. And I get my stuff done during the week because I'm not working. He also has not checked his email. Which he needs to do. 'Cause I sent him something on Friday. He's not checked it yet. I gotta tell him to check his email. Oh well. Oh well. We'll all live, I'm sure. I have no reality TV. I'm sorry. It's a holiday weekend. I refuse. I refuse to watch terrible TV on a holiday weekend. We'll get to it maybe eventually. I don't know. Maybe not ever. Who knows what's gonna happen? Um, Not my main focus right now. Uh, kids the kids stopped by. They went to their great grandma's for Easter, so we didn't go because we don't really get along with that side of the family, unfortunately. I get along with the other two kids in laws just fine, so it's not us. It's not us. Um, so they stopped by after and got their little stuff and found out the older one doesn't like jelly beans as well as Reese's Pieces, so that was a bust. But they were really excited. I got them those little umbrellas, kid umbrellas from Aldi. Um, they're super cute. If you know Megan from the what is that called? Can't remember her her handle on YouTube. It's like Megan the Shopper Lady. She does Aldi, Costco, and Sam's Club every week, and she tells you what's new. Um, they're on there. Although I really wish I would have known that they had Cars ones because I would have bought that. But we got the older one, a Spider-Man one. He was so excited, and we got the younger one, Lilo and Stitch, because he does like Lilo and Stitch a lot. So, but he also loves cars. So I would rather got him the Cars one, but it wasn't there. Um, but he looks at it and he goes, "I love it." I said, "Do you know what it is?" He says, "No." So I told him, "It's an umbrella." And he kinda looks at it, and he looks at his brother's opening his, he goes, "Is it for Wayne?" I'm like, "Yes." He's very smart. He's only 2. He's 2.5. Yeah, he might be 2.5. I turned 2.5 last month, so he's like 2.5. He's smart. He might be smarter than his brother, to be honest, but he's also very stubborn. We have fights. We had a fight yesterday because he wouldn't let me get a pull-up on him. He wanted a diaper. And they're trying to potty train him, which he's obviously not ready yet. I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think any kid at 2 is ready to potty train. It's more the parents being potty trained. But, it's not my kid. I just go along as much as I can. But the problem was what he was wearing. He couldn't get down by himself. And to me, that's kind of counterproductive. Like, if you want them to go on the potty, they have to, like, take their little pants off. So it did not go well. Let's just say it did not go well. I literally asked him if he needed to use the potty, and he says no emphatically. And then 5 minutes later, he's peeing all over the floor. So it'll be better in the summer. I say summertime potty training at any age because you can put them outside without any pants on, and they can get to know when they need, oh, this. Eventually, they'll realize that this sensation means this sensation's gonna happen in a minute if I don't go to the bathroom. Or you wait till they're 3 and you bribe them with preschool. That's what I did. Preschool started when they were 3. So, we went to see preschool teacher, Mrs. S, and, we went to see the preschool, especially the younger ones already knew because they, had a big brother, And then we said, Mrs. S doesn't change diapers, so you have to go on the potty if you want to come to school. And I mean, immediately, they never, ever, like, I mean, all kids are going to wet their pants sometimes, but like, unless they were super distracted, never had an accident. Three, magic, magic, magic time, me three. But I mean, I'm just saying, it works. Bribery works on children. It's fine. It's fine to use a little bribery to get your way. But oh, when he wanted to do something, I said, well, it ain't gonna happen until you put this pull up on. And he did, because he was bribed into it. Didn't read the book I bought him. I promised him a new book last week. So we did go to the resale shop and I found a couple of books for one for each of them. Because I can't buy one kid a book without buying the other kid a book. That wouldn't be fair. So I found books for both of them and then he didn't read them. Didn't even use them. The one book is kind of activities for the older one. I think the younger one's going to be a reader. He really seems to like his books. And he has a very wide vocabulary. Just that he figured out that it was for Rain all by himself. It's super cute. Super cute, super smart, super stubborn. Probably gets that from me, to be honest. I can be stubborn too. But he's so cute. He's so cute. All right. What else we got? Duggar update. There are places on the interwebs that you can listen to or be read the phone calls and emails to and from Joe Duggar and his family. They're wild. Like, these people have no accountability whatsoever. None. Like, oh, God will forgive you if you ask for forgiveness, God will forgive you, and then you can go on your perverted ways, I guess. It's wild. I don't understand it at all. Like, no accountability whatsoever. He doesn't even seem to realize that this is a life sentence thing. He probably won't because it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but there's got to be other victims out there. Step up and say something. We had a Me Too movement for a while ago for a reason, so that this kind of nonsense would stop happening. And then I read this morning the AI guy's sister is now saying stuff too. He made her homeless. It's ridiculous. These powerful men they get away with everything. It's driving me nuts. We need to burn the whole system down. Oh, did you know? This is interesting. You remember back in October when I had that whole rant about Christians not seeing other Christians as Christians? I did not know that that would happen already. Like, what the heck? Like, I'm not happy about it. I'm amazed that I was right. I'm amazed that so soon that I was right. If you are unaware, the armed services did not have a Catholic mass for Good Friday. Maybe on Easter either. A quarter of the military is Catholic, and they're not having a mass for them on Good Friday. Are you freaking kidding me right now? I don't have a dog in this fight. I just think it's ridiculous. So the infighting has already begun, even if they don't know it. I'll have to go back and get that rant and replay it for you. Maybe I'll do that this afternoon if I have time, because husband's coming home early and we're going to the movies. We never go to the movies. I love going to the movies and we never go to the movies. I didn't go to the movies that much as a kid either. Every once in a while. My mom wouldn't even let me go see Jaws. I was 9. I was 9. That might have been fair, but she wouldn't let me go see it. She didn't like it. It was not her thing. Which is wild because my sister is all about horror movies. Like, where did that come from? I don't like them, probably from the Aphantasia. I looked on the Aphantasia group. We had a little chat. The Fantasia subreddit had a little chat about horror movies, and most of us don't like them. I don't know why. I don't know why, because we can't, like, re-see all that stuff. I don't know. Seems to be a thing, though. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, first up, we have Murdered by Words, and it is entitled "MAGA Bob Bible Reads Differently." I could share this, I guess. It has a bad word in it. It says Trump is not perfect, but he is more in line with the Bible than Democrats, so my vote is for Trump. Look in your Bible. I look in my Bible, I did not see Trump, chickie. Jimmy James says he cheated on all his wives. He paid for sex. He raped, assaulted women. He steals. He cheats. He lies. He covets. He is currently running a campaign of terror domestically and of prejudicial murder internationally. What wanging Bible are you reading? Well, I mean, to be honest, a lot of that stuff is in the Bible and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't even think we need to say anything more about that. That's like, if you read the Bible, he, God wouldn't care about this war, wouldn't care a bit about it. Okay, this is our bad reviews, our revolting reviews. Um, Funny thing is, Acadia National Park as a whole gets 4 stars or 5 stars, and these are the 1 star reviews. This is from Rebecca T, and she says park passes are too expensive. Decided to have a picnic at Thompson's Island for my great granddaughter's first birthday. I grew up here in Maine, and I've never had to pay to go to Thompson's Island. Well, guess what, honey? Things change sometimes. I noticed it requires a park pass now, so I head to the visitor center to purchase one. I'd gone online and noticed it said one pass covers 15 people, but that's only if you're in one car. Ended up buying two for $60. Only 8 people are going to be there, but had to buy two. They don't offer a day pass or even discounts for locals, so it's fine for the whole year. $30 for a whole year. Well, 60 for 2 cars. That's pretty normal. It's not at all unusual. Not even going to use Behas after today. Thompson's Island, even in the park, greedy people. Who's being greedy? It's the government. It's not people. I don't get it. For the amount of money they are stealing from people, I hope the park is 100% maintained. Maintained. She forgot maintained. She forgot an I. And yes, if you're going to be a pill about it. Um, so the passes do seem to be um, Canyon National Park is $35 per car, around $20 a person if you're not in a car. Some of them don't have private vehicle passes. Some of them have personal passes, but not by. It's now $35, so she's probably really mad now. But you can get an annual pass for $55. And I think that gets you in any. She could have bought 2 annual park passes for 55 apiece and got gotten into any park she wanted. So I don't know why she's complaining. I would have just bought the $55 ones, and I forgot my drink. Um, and like gone into some other parks. Some of them don't cost. I believe the one in Michigan, yeah, I think that's a national park. Sleeping Bear Dunes. You can get in there some days for free. Sometimes they just don't collect the money. We went to um, Sleeping Bear Dunes a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. Um, it was open for everybody and anybody, and it was full, and they were not collecting money. So don't know what to tell you, chickie. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You would think you would check this out before you planned a birthday party there. Like you said, you looked it up. I don't get it. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it's entitled, how about one you haven't manhandled? Hey, it's all no caps OP. I still haven't figured it out. I had a deli customer come in today, along with many regulars. It is the witching hour and everyone's on lunch. I'm wearing gloves. I prepared most of the food customers see before them, but sometimes in my haste packaging their requests, my glove hands make physical contact with their food. So in comes my least favorite guy, the guy who asked me what the Swedish meatballs are, and I say Swedish meatballs, and he goes to say, because there's so much sauce on them, it's impossible to tell. Swedish meatballs are supposed to be saucy, sir. Have you been to IKEA? It's like totally unnecessary, literally puts too much sauce on everything. Not that I can judge him. But anyway, Saucy comes in and asks for 4 tenders. I have like 12 left. I'm doing the math, and I know the guy behind him gets 8 tenders minimum every day. As I'm bagging them with the tongs, my fingers holding the bag touches like 1 tender and he loses it. Hey, how about you give me some tenders? You don't put your hands all over. Enter MC. Who's MC? Before he can interject any further, I go to the next customer. Hey, what can I get while waiting for new tenders? Oh, give me the rest of those. You got it, chief. Then the other guy loses it as I tossed his manhandled tenders aside. Tell my manager, Sophie, start a new batch. I told Saucy, don't worry, I won't touch these. He said, Saucy says, that's not what I meant. Ah, the MC battle cry of defeat. He waited 13 minutes for new tenders. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous to think that people aren't going to actually touch your food at any point when you're ordering food. Like, what do they think? World's perfect or something? Izzy's Ghost says fresh fried tenders are better. I would have preferred the wait. I mean, I get that, but this guy was probably always in a hurry too. Andros Shaforce answers, before I moved, there was a store my brother and I used to go out grocery used to do out groceries at. I don't know what that means. We would go to the counter and ask what they had that they put a fresh batch on. They didn't mind because we would clear out the whole batch. That we would do our shopping and just come back just as the batch was done. Well, that's a good idea. Major Noodles answers, there was this one Wendy's where I would try and only go when it was busy because they were constantly moving food. In the off hours, the food would sit for a bit, which wasn't as good. I make sawdust answers. And one of my guilty pleasures is to get pizza at Gatatown's buffet, but my wife and I only go if the parking lot is packed because we know the pizzas at the bar will be fresh. I mean, I get that too. That's perfectly understandable. Discord, the lunatic, says, WTF was the idiot's problem. The whole point of gloves is that you're not really touching the food you're preparing. Poison Plushie says, as a patisserie, I will tell you with confidence that places that use gloves for preparation are less hygienic 100% of the time than places who don't. I bet they are. Gloves are used between different types of food with impunity and are often used to handle money and other items as well. There's so much cross contamination compared to people instinctively washing their hands from switching from chicken to veggies or after they've touched something dirty. My food safety course stressed this and made a point that gloves need to be changed just as often as hands need to be washed if they are being used at the closest you can get to properly hygienic is having an alarm that goes off every 20 minutes to make people change their gloves. Even that's not as good. I can understand that. Imaginary Park says, OMG, similar experience. I work in aerospace as a technician in a lab. Most hardware required the use of lint-free cloth gloves or rubber fingered cots. Most of the similars use finger cots. The procedure was to don the gloves or finger cots prior to handling the hardware and remove the prior to leaving the lab. Consistently, this one woman would wear her finger cots on smoke breaks and in the restroom. Gross. This meant that she's not washing her hands and completely sidestepping the need for finger cots in the first place. That's disgusting. Coder Joe is the third top rated comment, and they say, Tender is Karen's ego. In the 90s, I hosted a website for my dog. It was an advice column called Dear Sparky. He replied to people's requests for advice in all lowercase, so as he couldn't hold the shift down with his paws. He gave he also gave advice solely on his opinions as a dog. Want to stop smoking? Try drinking the good cool water in the bathroom toilet. Got a first date? Remember to hold still and let her sniff your butt, but it's only polite. That sounds adorable. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds adorable. Effort Primary answers that weird old internet memory unlocked. I actually think I remember this site, though I suspect you might be joking. It was like your typical GeoCities site or something with all colorful and flashy GIFs and such. Though I kind of remember the dog not appreciating it because dogs are colorblind, or at least one point had a rainbow paw prints in the background. Man, I miss the old west days of the internet. Coder Joe says, no, hosted my own domain. I even created my own cartoon of my wiener dog. I don't have much flashy stuff, but my cartoon was in color. My cartoon dog was in color. I also created a word game, a Lantern Lunar video game, and a horse race betting game all on the same website. That sounds neat. Can you bring that back? Because that sounds fun. By the way, it's talking about old things. You can play the old uh, Oregon Trail online. For some reason, something on Reddit triggered, old Oregon Trail about people dying. So and so has cholera. I won. Barely. 2 people died. It was sad. But my kid got measles twice. Don't think that's possible. Well, I mean it is, but it would be unusual. And my kid would get measles twice in that amount of time. Especially when you're not seeing anybody. Where did the measles come from? Does the Hancock building in Chicago look absolutely menacing in the fall from LSD? I'm not sure what LSD is. On the night they took this. It looks wild. There's a second picture. That fog is amazing. What the heck? These buildings are not that tall. I've been there. I know. Zeitgeist Archive says the fog happened because of LSD. Oh, LSD. Okay, that makes sense. Rave yesterday says they're on Lakeshore Drive. That makes sense. LSD, I can see that. Okay. Kilo Feet says, although Lakeshore Drive and acid are not mutually exclusive, it could be both. This is true. This is very true. Phoenix says, yeah, I mean, that's a scary building on LSD. Next, we have AITAH. And before I start, this is really long, so I'm going to go get my drink. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. I cannot take breaks yet. That is. What video? Oh, that's interesting. Stream markers. Ooh. Didn't know that was up there. Like I said, they changed the whole thing, so I don't even know what's where anymore. I'll be right back. As I was here 5 minutes before I started and still didn't get the tea taken care of. Hopefully, I have enough. The other day, BW wanted to drink my water, so I allowed him to have a taste. He says, "That's not water." I said, "It's tea." He said, "It's good." He liked it. Next, we have AITAH, and it is entitled AITAH for telling my daughter that she is not going to marry a billionaire. I mean, she could, maybe. There's a lot more billionaires than there used to be, but it would be dad's money probably. I, 47 male, have a bit of a problem. I have a daughter, 20 female, and my wife is 46 female. She is not my daughter's biological mother but has been in her life since 13 years old. Okay, so she's not even really her stepmother. Like that's pretty old to have somebody try and take over your life. Her mother and I divorced when she was 12 due to her alcoholism. Your 12-year-old was an alcoholic? Sorry, couldn't resist. Been running into stuff like that all day. For about a year now, my daughter has got it in her head that she'll marry a billionaire and that it will be the only way she can be happy in this life. I can only speculate that she has this idea from social media. She's not doing great at school at the moment, and all she talks about is marrying a billionaire. How's she going to meet a billionaire? Have you discussed this with her? She's 20 years old. She does not have fantasies like this anymore. Like, life should have already beaten that out of her. She's not doing great in school in the moment, and all she talks about is marrying a billionaire, how she thinks she can meet one, what type of house they'll have, and how she'll be in a private jet, etc. What do you mean house? Billionaires have houses. She's trying to take the steps to make this happen, which has me worried. I found out she has, for example, spent time in hotel lobbies and bars having a drink, trying to pick up older guys. Mind you, we do not come from poverty. She has never experienced financial insecurity, but we are definitely not billionaires. My wife has a brother who is very well off. My daughter is actively trying to get closer to him and his family in the pursuit of wealth. It got to the point where she ended up sharing selfies from the family house on social media, and now she's not allowed in there anymore due to the violation of their privacy. She has pulled similar stunts with other friends and family who have even a bit more of a lavish lifestyle. She's also tried to message some of my own work associates who are more glamorous position at work than I am. I had to find out from them that they shared what my daughter had been sending them on LinkedIn out of all platforms. She has been sending suggestive stuff to them and asked one of them to buy her fancy jewelry. This girl needs like mental health help. This is beyond just a fantasy. My daughter isn't stupid. Are you sure about that? 'Cause she sure don't sound smart. She's always done well in school until recently. Her performance is very bad at the moment. She got into a good university and is proficient in multiple languages. She also wrote a book when she was 16 and made it quite successful even. But something has happened that has made her so obsessed with money, and I have no idea what it is. I guess it's brain tumor. I don't know. She's temporarily staying with us for some weeks as she is looking for a new apartment. And for the past 4 or 5 days, this entire thing has had her so depressed that she hasn't gotten out of her bed. She keeps crying out because she doesn't have a billionaire boyfriend husband and has to stay in places that aren't as glamorous as she'd like. She cries like someone has died. It sounds like intense grief. Every morning we wake up to her sobbing in her room. You need to get her committed. What the heck? I've tried talking to her. I've tried the loving approach of comforting her and telling her that one day she'll find someone who loves her as much as I do. It hasn't been good enough. And she'll say nasty things. Yeah, but he'll probably be broke, so I don't care. Yeah, she's not looking for love, honey. Can't tell her that because that's not what she's after. Then took a more direct approach and told her that there's only a very tiny fraction of the world's population who are billionaires, and most of them tend to marry each other or are married already. So the statistical odds of this billionaire romance happening are for her are practically zero. My wife thought I was being an asshole being so direct to her that I didn't have to ruin it for her like that. Oh, yeah, you did. The direct approach is the only thing that's gonna work. Actually, she needs counseling. You need to get her at least in counseling, if not in rehab, because this is not normal behavior. She tried defending her, saying that my daughter is still young. She's 20 freaking years old. She's not a 13-year-old, she's 20. And that I should allow her to have her fantasies. No. 20-year-olds need to live in the real world. But I just don't agree. Everyone can dream, sure, but the fact that she's already violated the boundaries of multiple people and that the situation is getting on top of her, that it's affecting her academic performance means that something needs to be done. It cannot be health this cannot be healthy in the long term. Okay, good. Dad's got it going on. Plus her trying to talk to much older men is just dangerous. I really worry that she's going to end up hurt. So AITAH for this approach. Edit. I've reached out to therapists. I'm also going through my daughter's social media at the moment, which is all public. I'm trying to find any glaring red flags that may put her in danger. We'll update later. Thanks everyone for your suggestions, aside from those who just provided a list of ways to marry rich. What happened to love? As someone pointed out, yes, love alone does not pay the bills. But what is wrong with looking for a partner that has a stable income doing what they love? Stability is not only found in the riches. That's true. Very true. Even rich people are not happy. Just look at the kids of, well, look at actors, the celebrities, and celebrity kids. They're not happy. It's not money. Money cannot buy you happiness. You have to find it within yourself. Why does this person even have to be incredibly rich? Maybe I'm just being weird old person here, but I'm honestly astounded that this attitude is so common these days. I feel bad for the TikTok generation. Edit update. It hasn't been many hours since my initial post, and I'm honestly trying to process everything. I think writing this will help me. So it's Sunday. There have been zero responses from the medical professionals I contacted. Yeah, because it's Sunday, dude. Come on. Why didn't you do this like 3 weeks ago? No update there. As my daughter wants to go to therapy, I will 100% support it and pay for it. Well, you should be forcing her to go to therapy. She's acting like a teenager. You may need to treat her like a teenager. Speaking of, many people here blame me for enabling my daughter. I'm not quite sure how to feel about it yet. I've paid for her studies, her rent, and travel in case she wants to go abroad to see her cousin who is she's close with, and who I believe is an excellent role model. She's a successful woman who I think my daughter should definitely look up to. I do not pay for my daughter's luxuries. She has asked me for her designer things and trips to places like Monaco previously, and I've told her that she needs to get a job as a tutor or something similar if she wants fancy things because she needs to understand the value of money. Well, maybe you shouldn't be paying for like everything. I have, however, bought her luxuries like a phone, a tablet, a MacBook, but with the condition that she uses them to improve her life, i.e., using them at university complete assignments. I don't know that any of those are luxuries for a college student. Those are more like necessities. Maybe a tablet or a MacBook, but those seem like necessities to me. One was that I did a thorough check of her TikTok and Instagram. She had multiple profiles, but she's always followed herself, and so I managed to find those. And yes, she had reposted some alarming content from various female influencers. A lot of them were surprisingly rather misogynistic, just packaged in a glamorous way. Lots of women saying things like a rich man will choose a poor but skinny waitress instead of an overweight CEO. She'd been actively reposting content of women's shopping hauls of what their rich boyfriend or slash husband got them. Lots of stuff about how men cannot love, how women should look like to get a rich guy. There are some videos she liked to repost in particular where a woman just screams in her camera, telling her viewers to wake up and stop dating brokies. Just horrible, toxic stuff that will rot your brain. She also had posts of her own from expensive restaurants, among other places where I can only assume guys had taken her out on dates. I don't mean a $60 steakhouse. I mean restaurants where they serve 11 course meals and can cost at least $200 a person. Dang. I'd like to do that once because I can only afford it once. She's not employed. And I know for sure she's not paying that herself. She also had a post where she explained alarmingly that women who want handsome guy are trashy because real life high value, as she put it, women go for men's resources, not looks. I hate this high value women stuff. It's just so dumb. You're not any more high value than I am. And I don't even wear makeup, so it was absolutely bizarre seeing her talk like that. Then there was something even more alarming. Oh geez, really? She had something she had written a post that implied she subscribed to some course that is supposed to make her rich and famous, some content creator club. Basically, as I understood it, she had paid $500 out of her savings. He uses pounds, so this is not in the US. These people are not from the US. Basically, as I understood it, she had paid 500 pounds. That's not even a pound sign. I don't know what that is. um, oh, it's euros. Okay. It's a euro sign. So they're somewhere in Europe. 500 euros out of her savings slash the money I'd given her to some Russian creator whose entire online persona revolves around provider men and her glow up. The 500 euros went to coaching sessions with said creator where she was teaching my daughter the tricks to make money on social media. It sounded like a giant scam in all honesty. The woman seemed rather crappy as well, proudly accepting big amounts of money from desperate girls who wanted to be rich and famous. This is so sad. That's so sad. Why would you trust a Russian for that anyway? How do I know this? My daughter had several posts about it that were all set to public, which is no longer the case if I asked her to make her social media private, and which she thankfully agreed to. Yeah, she did it in front of you. It's going to go back public like immediately. And she's 20 years old. You can't tell her well, I don't know. Maybe in Europe you can. Anyway, then came the talk. I finally spoke to my daughter. I told her that first and foremost, she's an adult and gets to make adult choices, and whatever she does and whoever she dates is up to her. I said, that said, I told her I was concerned about her. I tried to gently ask what kind of guys she goes on dates with, and that, of course, she didn't have to tell me. But if we can have an open dialogue, I think it would make both of us feel better. She ended up admitting that she goes out with much older guys who are between 30 and 60 years old. As a dad, as much as I felt grossed out, I wanted her to feel safe with me. If anything ever happens, she can come to me. I asked her why she's so keen on having a much older, rich guy, and what that may bring to her life if she doesn't already have. She just mentioned the private jet, shopping trips, a big house. I told her that while all those things are certainly can be fun, it's not worth risking her autonomy and education for that stuff, particularly because the chance that she'll end up with a guy who will financially abuse her is quite high. Well, she just sort of thought she was too smart to be taken advantage of. Go figure. She's right for being taken advantage of. I brought up a lot of bad things that can happen and asked if she read about the e-files, Epstein files, I assume is what he means. She hadn't. Oh my. I told her that there were numerous reports of women and girls ending up in really bad situations that went right over his head as well. Then I asked why she had been sobbing, if she feels depressed, etc. She finally broke down in tears again, and I asked if something happened that she didn't want to tell me about, and she said yes, and I froze. I thought the worst of the worst can think of and contemplate going and grabbing a baseball bat, but nope, it was something entirely different. She sobbed for a good 15 minutes without being able to say a word, but I patiently waited until she could. She told me a year ago her and her friend snuck into a party in one of those fancy hotels. Her friend is apparently also on the whole provider man trend. They had fun and had some drinks, food and drinks that were there, according to my daughter. All the men were only into her friend, and a guy she had been eyeing the whole night ended up asking her friend's number instead. Then repeated multiple times over several months where her friend would get approached instead of her. I'm sorry, that's not nice. I can't help it. I'm an idiot. Then a little later, the girls found out that there was actually some guy who was a few years older at the university in their program who was actually the son of a multimillionaire. It became a huge fight between my daughter and her friend when they both began trying to get with the guy. This girl, who my daughter thought was her friend, then started spreading nasty rumors about my daughter and also had tried to sabotage her weight loss as my daughter was struggling with her weight. Now her former friend is now in a serious relationship with this guy as a result. My daughter feels like she was robbed of a potentially good future with him. She also said she feels jealous all the time of her friend and it's consuming her. This is not normal behavior. Weird. That's like stuff you do in high school, man. I was a bit confused. That was all. I even asked my daughter multiple times if this was all that happened and that no one had ever done anything to her against her consent, but no, that wasn't the case. She even went as far as to tell me that she's not even active, if you know what I mean. Sure, bullying can be traumatic, but my daughter's reaction seems indicative of something else. She wants to continue at the university and has told me she will try to pass some of her courses she hasn't passed yet, but doesn't seem to take it as seriously as she probably should. Why should she? She gonna marry a rich guy. She gonna marry a rich guy and be rich, rich. That's what's gonna happen. So all in all, I'm not sure where to go from here. My daughter has thankfully agreed to speak to a therapist, so that's good news. That's all for now. Oh gosh, it's so funny. Alarming paper is the top rated comment, and they say your daughter may be smart in some ways, but her emotional IQ is hovering close to zero. Her intrusion on your business associates, etc., shows that she has no idea how people meet and move in the financial realms that she's aiming for. And her glaring attempts at attracting a billionaire is only making it less likely that any wealthy man will come along and snap her up. Most billionaires have extremely good BS detectors and can tell a gold digger from 100 miles away. Truthfully, I think your daughter is desperate and needs therapy. Her priorities are completely wanged up, and the fact that she is hysterical at the idea of not marrying a wealthy man is disturbing on several levels. No kidding. By the way, NTA, she's cruising for a bruise, and the way she's headed, someone is going to figure she's easy pickings. Use her and dump her hard. And in this case, your wife is wrong. 20 years is old, getting too old for romantic fantasies. At 16, yeah, a girl might fantasize about mini prints, etc. But at 20, they should have a better grip on reality. What did I say? Mom with the words answers, I agree with this. Her emotional maturity seems low, and some therapy may help. An intelligent young person should be focused on creating their own success and happiness, looking for someone with similar future plans and preparing for a happy life. This sounds like she's seeing the future or trying to regress back into childhood fantasy. I'm glad OP sees the need for concern. Maybe she's reading the wrong kind of books. I mean, like fiction. Maybe she needs to read better books. Give her the Hunger Games. Nah, she probably thinks snow is a catch. Never mind. NYC storyteller says NTA, she needs professional help. She's being a gold digger and stalker, and it's not going to end well for her. Dangerous Winter Elf says possibly not end well professionally for OP. He's lucky all his work contacts has done is contact him about out of courtesy. But at what point could he lose his reputation and be the man with the crazy daughter? That's true. Or lose friendships instead of her just being banned. That's something I would talk to the wife about too, as long as she supports the daughter and calls her behavior dreams and harmless. It might be hard to get her into professional help. Callous bitch says she genuinely sounds as if has a serious mental health condition. I agree. I agree. I would be putting her in intense therapy immediately. Same. Because this is not normal behavior. This is not normal behavior. I crack myself up. Sobbing over an apartment that isn't lavish when you're in your 20s. Wanting nice things is not an issue. Deciding a very wealthy spouse is more important to you than other things is not a rare goal. Messaging random people on LinkedIn for necklaces, being emotionally distraught over not bagging a billionaire at 20. Girl needs professional help yesterday. 100%. Second top rated comment is from Allergy Mom. NTA, but is she mentally okay? She may need an assessment if she's starting to spiral so badly. Plus, she's trying to act like an escort and is harassing your wife's brother to some extent. Seriously, she needs more real help. Catbeck says she also needs an IUD. The last thing she needs is a baby from a married mid-tier CEO that signs her up to a life of poverty. She doesn't seem like the most sensible person at the moment. Bionically ironic says yes, yes. She might try to baby trapping one if she gets desperate. That's true too. That's just terrible scenario I hadn't even thought of. Aficionado, because I can't read the first part of that. My first thought is this sounds like a form of mental illness. I have bipolar, and she reminds me of a couple of manic episodes I've had. Fixating on unrealistic idea, but completely convinced it can really happen, and completely unaware she's putting herself in danger to achieve it. She's the right age for it to first appear, and the stress of school could have triggered it. How do you go about getting her help? I don't know. She's an adult, so she has to agree to any treatment or assessment. Yeah, 100%. The girl needs help. I wonder if there's an update. I'm hoping there's an update. No, the account's been banned. Never mind. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it's entitled, My Neighbor Wants Me to Pay Half of a Fence That Matches Her Yard. A few days ago, a windstorm came through and knocked out one of the fence panels between our yards. Okay, so put it back up. That's usually what happens. At 9 a.m., my neighbor sends me a text and demands I send my husband out so they can talk about the fence right now. I have a pathological demand avoidance. So let's just say this is not a great start. Oh, yeah, I kind of have demand avoidance too. I get that. I tell him I'll send him out when he's free. He goes out and places some pallets against it to hold it up, then asks if he should drill them in. I tell him to tell the neighbors first just to make sure all the reinforcements stay on our side. I'm working from home, so I'm busy on and off calls. She texted me and said we need to have a conversation about it. The posts are rotting, and she says the braces aren't working. I can literally see the fence from where I'm sitting, and he's drilling wood into it as we speak while they do nothing. But I see them back there talking to him. Then text me that they are about to go on a trip and that her husband is going to stay home now to repair it. With your husband's help, they can get it done. It's a panel on a fence. It's like a half an hour project, maybe. Or you can call a professional. Fleeta Property Services. Holly, Michigan, sorry. Look them up. They will come fix your fence. Apparently his labor is being volunteered for this now, so he's being voluntold to help with the fence. It's probably their fence. For context, my husband doesn't own the house. He's an immigrant, and we are waiting on his green card. I own the house, which is necessary info for the upcoming fund. So they're outside talking while my husband drills the pallets into the fence to stabilize it. She tells me to come, and I text I'm in meetings and I can talk after 4 o'clock. I add that I don't have budget for this month, that we can revisit the conversation in 1 or 2 months, and that husband is stabilizing it for a temporary solution until we can replace. It's not sufficiently apparent. It's not sufficient, apparently. He comes in and between calls, he tells me that they are adamant about us paying half. The reasons are because she just lost her job. They also have to replace their water heater and their AC unit. Although that sounds like a you problem. Guess what? Our houses are the same age. We just replaced those things too, and I've been on a single income for 6 years. My sympathy for this, zero. But these are her excuses, and she says they're just afraid with that fence broken, my dog could get in and attack her dogs or her kids. So let's back up a couple of years. Her kid kicked a ball into our yard. He jumped the fence to retrieve it. My dog bit her kid. Well, that's not good, either for the kid or either on the kid's fault or on the dog's fault. That's not good. Um, okay, so here's the history. Then she adds, I heard he bit other kids in the neighborhood too. I know what she means. Okay, he did. Okay, your dog should not be alive then. My daughter's friend, he was in the kennel, and her friend opened the kennel, crawled in, and yanked him by the fur. And he bit her. Of course he did. Okay, never mind. I retract. I was in the bathroom. I offered to pay the bill. They said no, the insurance covered it. I sincerely felt sorry for the little girl, but also don't pull on a dog in her own home. Exactly. I forgot to mention his breed. He's a Chiweenie, so I'm assuming that's a Chihuahua and Dachshund mix. Yeah, those are not nice dogs. Neither one of those are nice dogs. Yes, the terrible menace of the neighborhood weighs 10 pounds and he's smaller than a cat. He's a terrifying villain. So obviously the fence situation is an emergency to protect against him. They are adamant we pay half because we simply can't afford to front the whole cost. Fine, yes, I understand. Shared fence, the shared responsibility. It's not a shared fence. The fence is owned by one person. Fences are owned by one person. The person who put up the fence, or the house, the person of the house who put up the fence. So the fence would be on their property. That's the person who owns the fence. Is when the fence, whose ever property the fence is actually on. And you might need a survey for that, which is like $2,700 from what I understand. There's a story. It's not mine to tell though. I guess she leaves for vacation and the husband stays home and she tells me to talk to him while I'm done working. I repeat, we can visit the conversation again in a month and it's stabilized for now. With the drill and the pallets, it's not going anywhere. Then she tells me they went ahead and ordered the posts. So now I'm like, wait, what? I tell her I'm a little caught off guard by that and that we hadn't agreed on a price or materials yet. She texts back blaming spotty service over text, and that she didn't order the fence posts and that they were out of stock at Home Depot and won't have them until midnight. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, then. And she says that they want the fence to match the fence in the back of their yard, which is not my preferred color. But I figure color might not matter. I can just paint my side of it. But I know for sure she used whatever she used looks expensive. Now back up again. My other neighbors 2 months ago knocked on our door. They've been doing home updates for months. They said we bought a fence and we were going to replace the one between our fences. I got the cost, don't worry about it. So we said okay because of not paying for the fence. I really don't care what the material is. Aside from that, what they picked ended up being my preferred style and color anyway. Zero complaints here. They replaced the fence. It's lovely. You can have whatever you want if you're paying for it. So now back to the first neighbors. They want to know how much we paid for that other fence. We say nothing. They covered it, which shuts down what I know their next argument was going to be about how we can't budget for one neighbor and not the other. Whose fence is it? Now she reiterates that she wants the fence to match her back fence. I say we can sit down and look at materials and options together next month. She does not relent. She asks what materials I prefer and that she doesn't want flimsy vinyl, but she considered wood, but she really wants a composite fence to match their other one. Do you know how much I knew about composite fences before this? Nothing. I have zero fence research prior to this week. Do you know how much a composite fence costs? 7 times the price. Yes, but it lasts forever. And you shouldn't be paying for the fence. If she wants that fence, that's fine. She can put the fence up. It's fine. So if it's $600, there's 10 panels to replace between our yard. So 600 if it's a wood fence, 7 to 900 if it's vinyl. Okay, that's not 7 times the price. That is not 7 times the price. That's barely anything more, actually. Her exact fence. Oh, vinyl. Okay, it's 600 if it's a wood fence, 7 to 9 if it's vinyl. The composite fence is 5,000. Okay, okay, that's different. So now I'm like, okay, I see what's up. You want me to pony up $2,500 for a fence that matches their yard and material they've already chosen to decide on. Tone deaf. I would not. They put up your fence. I'm not paying for it. Lady, if you just lost your job and you're still considering the $5,000 fence, we are not living in the same universe. I'm over here trying to budget for half of a $900 fence plus labor. She's over there plotting a huge cement and composite fence plan and figuring out how to make it cost $5,000. Girl, if this is not your fence, don't pay for it. It's not Fences are not communal property. They are owned by one person and one person only, or one house and one house only. Whoever the owners of the is whoever the is on the deed of the house, that's whose fence that is. She asked if I had bids up for a fence guy and already in my mind. Oh yeah, let me just call my fence guy. He's on speed dial. Just kidding. Obviously, I didn't say that. Later property services. Um, I don't have bids because it wasn't on my radar until today, and that I would prefer a wood or vinyl fence for a little more budget-friendly option, and repeated we could discuss it next month. She hasn't replied since. I wonder if she already ordered the fence and thought she could just hand me the bill and be like, "Here, pay half." But it's not over yet. I'm predicting more fun in the near future. Thanks for coming to my neighbor rant. Edit. She messaged this. Hey, if we get a few bids, if you can get bids on which type of fence you want, then we can determine what each of us prefer. That's not how that's going to work. That repair won't last long, I imagine, if you can't pay until April, May. Let's work out half our costs and we split it. I appreciate your willingness to pay half. For composite, here's the first bid with just posts. I'll send another summary of panels. So she sends me a receipt for 13 1333 for 11 composite fence posts, which were already purchased. She cropped it so I wouldn't see the receipt, but there's a cancel your order button and a pickup person unlisted. I did my research to see about the shared fence rules, and they are kind of ambiguous where I live. Technically, I don't have to pay half, but the laws also say if I'm going to use the fence, I will need to pay half of a reasonable replacement later. That makes no sense to me at all. Which my research shows me is $857 for 11 wood posts and 10 wood panels. My half would be 430 compared to her $1,333 for just 11 composite posts she already bought. So far, the pallets are holding up the fence very well with no issues, even in high winds. The temporary fix is stable, but the replacement for a wood fence isn't as much as I thought, so I intended to offer $430 as my half, and my husband can put it up, so I'm not worried about the labor costs. I appreciate your willingness to pay half. She absolutely chose her words carefully. Yes, willing to pay half of a wood fence or vinyl, but she vetoed that already. Not paying $5,000 luxury upgrade. I'm deciding whether or not to be nice and offer the full half of the wood post, even though she already ordered the composite, or just the wood fence since she already bought the post before anything was agreed on, which might mean I'm not even obligated on the post at all. I'll think about it. It's a wood fence now, so a wood fence would be considered a reasonable replacement. It only gets windy here a couple of weeks in spring, and the fence is 30 years old, so the material isn't a problem, just the age. First comment is from Sucker for Cats, to a cat person. Don't pay for it until you confirm with local laws if you have to pay for it or not. I'm in Kentucky, and our fences are put up by the person who wants them and paid for them by that person only. This is not a good neighbor fence. The person who puts a permit in is the one who pays for it. I did not know this until one year it blew down, and my neighbor told me about it, and I verified with the city that was indeed my responsibility. Now, in some places, both pay. My parents live in California, and there you do have share the cost, but it's not like that everywhere. Check with the city to see who installed it and who is responsible. And even if you have to share the costs, get your own quotes. Just don't pay whatever she tells you to, or go with whatever design she wants. White Champion says we're in a place where you could have two fences on one property line. When we bought our house, it was just land and we built a house. The land had a chain link fence on three sides of the yard from others fencing in. So we built and added a fence to complete the yard. A few years later, someone bought the house on one side of us. I guess they wanted a privacy fence. Instead of coming to see if they could take the chain link down, they just built their fence 5 inches away. So now weeds grow in this little space and you can't get a weed eater into it. Nice. Somebody said spray Roundup in there, which is probably also what my son would say. Miss Adelante says it depends on where you live, but even if sharing the cost is required by a statute like California, weird. California is weird. There's usually a clause that says the price has to be reasonable. They might be able to pay you half of a wood fence, but no court would require you to pay for composite. Yeah, exactly. Lavender Twine says if she can't afford the fence but wants a $5,000 version, that math ain't mathing. Next we have True found Satan and it's entitled True Evil. Usually a meme. Know this by now. I visited a gun shop in Indiana once and had to use the bathroom. Inside was a portrait of a naked man with a thick wooden board covering where his private part would be. Curiosity got the best, and I tried to lift the door and it went off an air horn throughout the whole store. That shop owner, well, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan. The devil. That's hysterical. That's really funny. I like that. Tiny Tempest said the funniest part is knowing that the thing absolutely worked more than once and just kept getting funnier for the owner every time. Little Bo Peeps Velcro says glory horn. Somebody else came up with it and they're mad that Little Bo Peeps Velcro got it first. 11 Booty Warrior says that's when you have to prop it up so the horn goes off continuously. Shop owner will know you're being. Oh, jeez. Oh, now we are back to seriousness, guys. This is from Just No Mill and it is entitled In Laws Poisoned My Dog. Um, so it does say in the trigger warning that the dog is okay, but animal cruelty and neglect. Um, my in laws watched our dog this weekend while we were out of town, something they've done many times before and were seemingly happy to do. They live about 45 minutes from us and have dogs of their own that get along very well. Dropped off on Saturday, picked up on Sunday. I was hesitant for my dog to stay with them, not because of anything that's previously happened, just from issues we've been having as a family. Offhand comments, crossing boundaries with the baby, etc. My husband swore it would be fine, so I said okay. When we came through on Sunday to pick up our pup, my husband went inside to get him and talked with his parents while I stayed in the truck with our baby and my parents. It was already 11 p.m., and I had just heard devastating news not even 30 minutes before that one of my team members at work, along with her 6-year-old stepson, were blue. Ooh, okay, that should have been a trigger warning. Um, they were killed by her husband, the child's father, and I couldn't really function at the moment outside of the truck. Yeah, no kidding. We get home and my husband says, "Hey, I didn't want to drop this on you when you had just heard the news about work, but I need to tell you what happened this weekend with the dog." He proceeds to tell me that his parents fed our dog onion rings. And when my husband pressed why on earth they would do that because they're toxic to dogs, my mother said, well, they were fried. Okay, that doesn't matter. This is a conversation we've had before with I've seen their own dogs feed their own dogs to, foods that were toxic. I also found out willingly withheld my dog's seizure medication for 2 doses. Why would you do that when you fed them stuff they shouldn't be eating? No reason given other than that they just didn't do it. Didn't forget, dog didn't refuse to take it. I know, shame on us for leaving having our I wouldn't let your kids the kid's not staying with them ever, right? Shame on us for even having our pup stay with them. I've been sick to my stomach and trying to let my husband handle his parents, which he does a very good job of. He's addressing the situation, but we shouldn't have had them watch our dog at all. I'm grateful pup is okay. Also reiterates why they will never watch my child. Oh, phew. Goodness. I was worried. Update to add, my husband did talk to his mother this evening and told her why we were so mad, and she hung up on him when he said we were boarding our pup from to ensure that he gets appropriate care. My husband will also be driving to their house tomorrow to reiterate to their faces where they can't just hang up. Excuse me, why this is such a big deal. That's it. That's the post. um, Top rate comment is glad your dog is okay. Obviously, never leave the dog with them again, or your kid for that matter. After reflection says, while they are lazy, reckless, and stupid, glad your pup is okay and won't be subjected to them anymore. You now know and can justify not ever allowing them to be around your child unsupervised. Your dog is part of your family. They'll argue. not the same, but family is family. Odd. I mean, even if it's not the same, that you're not leaving a kid with that. If they're gonna neglect a dog like that, they'll neglect a kid like that. They've shown that they're not reasonable people. Regretting FM says, when I was a child, I would share raisins with my dog, the little boxes with the lady wearing the big hat on it. I would give her one or two. She loved it so much, but I'd never heard that grapes and raisins were toxic. I never knew that until my 20s. I'm not sure anyone knew. I didn't know onion rings were. I mean, I'd have to look stuff like that up. This morning, I remember doing that and felt so guilty. She was such a sweet dog, almost 35 years later, and I was feeling terrible for doing something I have no way of knowing was wrong, wasn't the right thing to do. And there are people who do it on purpose. Confounded and abandoned says, my dog loves grapes and raisins. We live in an area with lots of wild grapes, which doesn't help. Late summer, the ground can be coated with fallen grapes. There seems to be a lot of individual variation in susceptibility to toxic effects. That's true. Some dogs can eat chocolate, but chocolate is considered toxic to dogs too. Once she figured out how to get the pantry door open and ate a 12 pack of raisin ball by while I was away, she didn't get ill. She's 65 pounds and apparently very tolerant of grapes. The first year I moved here, I didn't realize that every single bush and tree in the area had a wild grapevine. I was like, what's all this debris on the ground, and why is my dog trying to eat it? Years ago, I worked under a dog trainer who used raisins as a sweet reward for excellent behavior in his protection dogs. He sold top level trained protection working dogs. Raisins flew. No dog got ill, but I would be surprised if there's some genetic variation that product sensitivity. Regretting answers that I'm not trying to attack you, but just for my peace of mind as a public service announcement, I want to put this here. Is raising is raisin poisoning always an emergency for dogs? Yes, raisin poisoning is always an emergency situation. Raisins can contain toxins that can cause severe kidney damage within 24 to 72 hours after ingestion. There's no safe amount. Well, obviously they're not, though. Even a few raisins can potentially harm dogs of any size or breed. So why are they eating them in the wild? Quick veterinary attention is essential to prevent kidney failure and to increase chances of recovery just because there are people who don't know. Also, nutmeg can be toxic to dogs. Another thing I didn't know. I used to give my different dog a thin slice of pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving because I knew pumpkin was good for him. I figured a little sugar wouldn't hurt him. Thank goodness he never had a reaction. And then he goes on to say it's a cumulative effect. So, which is it? Even a few, or is it cumulative? I'm confused. Now I'm doubting. Next, we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled Epic Revenge Against High School Bully. I'm not petty or one to normally take revenge, but I inadvertently became the landlord of my high school bullies. At this point, I was 25 and well past high school and didn't even face me initially. I was young and had a big heart. We had massive low income properties, which I managed for an absentee owner. I was the type of landlord that would take in people running from a bad situation and furnish their home with donated furnishings. I would buy tenants meals, work out payment arrangements if they couldn't pay rent by giving them odd jobs, or spot them some cash when they ran into a jam. Tenants absolutely adored me because of the good I did for everyone. So, anyways, this girl, for some bizarre reason, tried to start a fight with me in the lobby of the building where my staff and tenants witnessed the interaction. I told her to grow up and I wouldn't be taking any disrespect from her now that we're grown adults. However, she sealed her fate as word got around the entire building of 200 plus units turned against her. Someone made a crude poster and cemented it cemented it on her door. Cemented it? How do you get that off? Another tenant left heavy machinery going over her head and left for the weekend. People are heckling her anytime she walked through the building. After about 2 weeks, she came and begged me to let her out of the lease. I let her go for her own safety because things were escalating. Come moving day, I had my revenge. I mysteriously lost the elevator key that day, just as the movers showed up. She went ballistic, kicking my office door and throwing a tantrum as I just smirked at her. My one petty moment in life. I'm not much older, and that was probably a bit much, but that girl really brought it on herself. Hey, if she's gonna be that mean and nasty, especially as a grown adult, come on. Even the people that were bullies at my high school are not that blatant, although they are MAGA. So, Chuck says karma is a sweet thing. Second top rated comment is Lyndon the Wog says bully revenge is the absolute best kind. And Soulbound for the second says I feel for the movers here. Poor peeps had much higher time. Because of this, I hope they had good compensation. Next we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled Mom Tried to Steal My Friend's Chemo Recovery Cake because she forgot her own kid's birthday. Ow. So this happened yesterday and my adrenaline is still pumping just thinking about it. I am 25 male and my best friend just finished his last round of chemo after a really brutal year. We planned a small get together to celebrate and I ordered this really expensive custom cake from a local bakery like a month ago. It cost me around $180 and had this intricate design on it. I was at the bakery standing at the counter to pick it up. The worker brought out one of those boxes with the clear window on top so you can see the design is set. It sat in the corner while I was tapping my card to pay. The door chimes and this frantic woman walks in dragging a kid who looked to be about 6 or 7. She gets right next to me and asks the worker what a large custom cake they have available for immediate purchase. The worker tells her they only have standard small cakes in the glass display case and everything else requires a 2 weeks notice. Lady looks down at the counter and sees my cake in the box. She literally points at it and tells the worker, I'll just take that one then. The worker looks confused and says, Ma'am, that is his order and he is paying for it right now. The mom turns to me and puts on this fake sweet voice and says her son's birthday starts in 40 minutes and she forgot to order a cake. And since I'm a grown adult, I should just be the bigger person and let her buy it so her kid isn't devastated. Absolutely not. There are cakes available for you, man. Buy 2 if you need that much. Buy 2. You can buy 2. You cannot have my cake. No. I just laughed because I thought she was kidding, but she was dead serious. I told her, absolutely not. This is for my friend who just beat cancer, and I planned this for weeks. Her face immediately dropped, and she got so mad. She said adults don't even care about cake, and that I'm being selfish for making a little boy cry on his special day. I care about cake, and I'm an adult. You mess with my cake, it's going to be bad for you. It's going to be bad for you. Don't mess with my cake. Really, I can do without pies and cookies. Just give me some cake. I'd rather have the cake. The kid wasn't even crying. He was just looking at the floor before I could even grab a box. She lunged forward and literally grabbed the cardboard handles out of my cake box and tried to snatch it off the counter. Oh my goodness. I slammed my hand down on top of the box to stop her from lifting it. We were literally playing tug of war with a $180 cake. I yelled at her to let her go, and she started screaming at the top of her lungs. I was assaulting a mother. No, you're assaulting my cake, ma'am. The worker was yelling at her to stop, and the baker actually came running out of the back of the kitchen area. When she realized she couldn't pull it away from me, she let it go, hoping the box would flip over and ruin the cake. But I caught it against my chest. She was so enraged, she swept her arm across the counter and knocked over an entire display basket of wrapped cookies onto the floor. The owner told her he was calling the police for destruction of property. She grabbed her kid by the arm so hard he actually did start crying and dragged him out the door yelling that she was going to ruin their business on Facebook. The bakery owner felt so bad he locked the front door so I could walk back out the back alley to my car safely. I just don't understand how someone can be so entitled that they try to rob a cancer patient of their cake just because they're a lazy parent. How do you forget? How do you organize an entire birthday party and forget the cake? Also, you can go to Costco, you can go to Sam's Club, you can go to Kroger, you can go to Meijer, you can go to VG's, you can go anywhere, any grocery, Walmart. Walmart's everywhere. You can go to Walmart and buy a cake. And they're not bad cakes. They're not bad cakes. But you can go buy a cake and have somebody put happy birthday Tommy on it and it'll be fine. The kid really doesn't care that much. Unless you maybe have a theme going and then you might have to have a little bit of decoration put on it. It won't even cost you that much. They're cheap. They're not $180. I don't even think they're $80. Provokes Wax says that woman is the human equivalent of a toddler tantrum in a trench coat. She literally tried to snatch a cake meant for a cancer survivor because she forgot her own kid's birthday. The fact she then vandalized the bakery. She's lucky you don't press charges. You handled that with more grace than she deserved. Um, she didn't forget her kid's birthday. She forgot her kid's birthday cake. It's not quite the same thing. Used clock says not to mention physically abused her child in public. That grab guaranteed bruises on the kid's arm, if not minor to major dislocation of the shoulder socket. That's true. It's easy to pull out a kid's uh, joint. Silver Adagio says, I'll tell you the cake for $2,000. If you care about your son, you'll pay. Does mommy love you, little boy? Echo Marigold says, the level of entitlement it takes to physically wrestle a cancer recovery cake from someone, all because she dropped the ball on her own kid's birthday, is actually insane. It is. She didn't just forget the cake, she tried to outsource her parenting failure by robbing a stranger. Second top rated comment is from Zesty Clothes Height. NTJ, please, if you have time, monitor Facebook and Yelp and post about Monster Karen if she tries to trash the store's pages. And post about the bakery if you can't liked the cake. Times are rough for small businesses and one awful person can wreck them. That is true. Luckwin is the third top rated comment, and they say, some people, I'm glad your friend beat cancer and may it remain in remission. 100%. Hoping for that. Oh, come on. I went through all of these. Hold on. I go dig up a post for entitled people because they deleted it between the time I. Ugh. Ugh. Tuesday. Here we go. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I gotta find them. There we go. Okay. No, that's entitled parents, not entitled people. This is what I usually do before the restart. Okay. Okay, it's from Friday. All right. This is from entitled people. It is entitled Friend Invites Herself to My Romantic Getaways. This is edit. This happened in the past. I was dating a flight attendant, Steve, who was based very near a touristic, touristic, touristic city. It's a tourist city. We had been meeting halfway and traveled to other places together for long weekends. He invited me on his time off as well. One time I visited him at his hometown and had a great time. I met his friends and I liked them a lot, and they seemed to like me as well. Like myself, he lived very frugally with a goal to retire in a few years. He had a two-bedroom condo rented the guest room on Airbnb for extra income. When I got back, my friend Savannah calls to see how my trip went. I filled her in on how much I enjoyed his town and friends, and that we became closer during my visit. I only knew Savannah in a group situations and never hung out with her long enough to get a sense of her personality. My initial thought that she was being a supportive friend. The next night she calls again and tells me she wants to come along with me the next time I see Steve. I tell her no, that we like our privacy. She asks about when the guest room is vacant. I tell her the only time it's not rented out is when his kids visit. This is when I learned she doesn't like taking no for an answer. She calls me a third night and asks if I can ask him to ask his friends if she can stay with them. I feel like that would be a major imposition and that I won't ask him. I did reality check with a few coworkers to see if I was off base. They suggested she was out of bounds and not to further the friendship. She calls me a day or so after, asking if I can stay at his friend's place with a new angle. She starts by asking if Steve plans to visit me soon. I tell her yes. She says I should have a party so our friends can get to know him. I tell her that I might do that, but I don't have any definitive plans for the visit. She doubles down and tells me I should think more seriously about a party. I tell her I'll think about it. Then she tells me she wants the opportunity to ask him if she can visit with me and ask him if he can ask his friends if she can stay with them. I feel she was suggesting that if I don't ask him privately, she's going to ask him publicly, where it would be awkward for him to say no to her. I didn't talk to her for a year after that. If she hadn't been in my friend group, I would have ended the friendship. That's wild. Like, you don't do that. She's lonely? Maybe she's lonely. Top comment is from Old Odd T, and it says, "Wow, that girl is nuts." uh, ILP says, "Completely nuts. If she ever somehow sees Steve and asks him, make sure he's prepared to lie with OP already asked me on your behalf. Neither my friends nor I have any place for you to stay. I'm sure you can find reasonable hotel or Airbnb in the area." And then he should excuse himself and walk away. Old class says, "Oh, hi, it's you I've heard so much about. Walk away." T, sorry. Oh no, that was old class. I hope I stay awake during this movie. Saturp is second top rated comment, and they say block and ignore is the customary way to deal with a person like that, I think. OP says we're no longer friends. And she's no longer in the friend group. Her top rated comment is from Listen Savannah is from CJ's opinion. Listen, Savannah, I was trying to be discreet, but Steve and I have no plans of leaving the bedroom, if you know what I mean. It's not the time for a third person. Oh, I don't know. She's up for that. Okay. Expectation versus reality is entitled a new tattoo. So this was his expectation was to get scissors on him. Oops, sorry. Guess I gotta do this. Get scissors? I don't know. That's like the worst rendition of that I've ever seen. Um, oh, that's really nice. Really, really nice. They did a good job. Those look like realistic scissors. Yeah, no tattoo here. No tattoo. Old crone says, now you can never run again because you can't run with scissors. Chaos Torpedo says we can be scissor friends because they also have a scissor tattoo. Mint Man says, hold on, that looks nothing like the original drawing. Said that the artist didn't even put part of the tattoo off his arm. All right, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, your family, and your enemies, and whoever else you come in contact with. Tell the lady at the grocery store. I don't know. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and it's also in the description. I think I already did my diatribes for the day. Next, we have our real estate section. It is from Zilla Gun Wild and is entitled Couldn't Get Closer to the Hollywood Sign If You Wanted to. And this is in Lake Arrowhead. No, it's in LA. I don't know why it said Lake Arrowhead. $2,250,000 for this house. 3 beds, 4 baths, 2,500 square feet. So it's a good sized house, at least. Oh, that's nice. I like it. I've always had a thing for A-frames though, so it's probably just me. I wouldn't want it because there's too many people around there for me. That is funny and cute. That's really funny and cute. I like that a lot. A little jean collage. That's really cool. I had friends when I was growing up that lived in an A-frame at a lake. It was nice. I wonder if the house is still there. I should go right by it the next time I go see my dad. View of the fence is not great. Holy cow. Green and blue kitchen, or I'm sorry, red and blue kitchen. I don't even know my colors today. The 2-year-old knows his colors better. Red and blue kitchen. It's wild. I don't like it. It's weird how the table matches. Well, the table's bolted to the floor because I guess the table's staying with that ugly blue countertop stuff. Interesting. Does that stay with the house? Is that why you're showing this probably naked man on a pedestal? I don't know. That would be nice. Why are they taking pictures at night? Yep, and that man is naked. And he has a tattoo. It's weird. It has a hot tub. It's in ground. Never seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen an in-ground hot tub like that that's separate from a pool. Do you need a hot tub in California or what a pool do you? I feel like you don't need a hot tub in California. That's not a bad. It's very wood. I don't know. I'm torn now. I'm not sure I like wood in a bathroom because of the moisture problem. You could put another sink in there. That'd be cool. Third bedroom. Okay, I don't like that guy staring at me in my bathroom. It's an okay bathroom. Why do all the bathrooms have the same countertop? That's my question. Was there a good deal on it? Was it on sale? I'm assuming this is a basement. Well, I get all that equipment because that'd be cool. Oh, this is going to be like our basement because I plan on having the movie posters and everything too. Stargate. I like this guy. He's cool. Except for that naked guy that's hanging out in the hallway. It's a lovely house. I really like it. Except for the Hollywood sign in the backyard. Do you get all of that land with it? Also, I'd be afraid of fires. Fires in California are scary, man. I had a friend lose his house to one. So it's built in 1963. It's on a little over a quarter of an acre. Perched just beneath the towering letters of the Hollywood sign. It's not simply a home, it's a living, breathing work of art. Yeah, that's the only way to describe that kitchen. A work of art. Nobody said it was a good work of art. Oh, once home to the legendary 1960s band, the Association. I love the Association. Cherish, Wendy, Never My Love. Association's cool, man. Has been immortalized in Linda McCartney's celebrated photography book, The 60s. That is cool. Okay, I would buy it for that because of the association. Okay, appliances include microwave, washer, and dryer. So you're gonna have to pony up for a stove, refrigerator, dishwasher. I guess that kitchen does not come with the house. Oh, laundry room, laundry closet stacked. Oh no, no, thank you. I can't reach in there. I'm too short. We have to do something about the laundry. The flooring is stone. It has one fireplace in the great room. I'm afraid to ask. Well, they should have sold that in like 2015, to be honest. Looks like yeah, they were trying to rent it out. Oh, the property taxes aren't bad at all. 2,213. That's not bad at all. Holy cow. Yeah, would recommend. Oh, this is Lego or Arrowhead vibes in the LA area. 2.2 million is not bad for a 2,500 square foot house in LA. They're wondering if there's a catch. Pioneer Laser Vision said my only thought is wildfire risk, but that place is remarkably cheap for that size and that location. Trying to buy something like that in Beverly Hills for that price, yeah. Next top rated comment is from Salt and Lilacs, and it says it's really beautiful. I like it except for the kitchen. General T says I'm tired of being poor. Maintenance either says for real wise every GD house is $2 million. Because that's the ones I post on here. Oh, that's reminds me. I forgot. Remember all the times my husband's been going to Kazoo to work on the house for my sister-in-law? Well, it went on the market on Thursday, I think. Saturday she had well, no, it was Friday. She didn't get to it till Friday. So it went on the market Friday. Saturday she had an open house. Saturday she had an open house. Saturday night she had an offer. Sister-in-law accepted the offer yesterday, contingent on an inspection. They have to get it inspected in like 7 days. Hopefully everything my son did passes. So that nightmare's over, thank goodness. Oh no. I just got a text from my BFF. She's having my best friend has very strange energy and electronics don't like it. Oh, next we have signs. The story is entitled Road Sign I Found. And I will show you. I mean, there's a road sign like this not far from where I live. Hitchhikers may be escaping inmates. I think the one near my house just says don't pick up the hitchhikers. And you can literally see the prison, the state prison from there. Uh yes, it's his mom says first time driving past a prison. Moist Juice says definitely stop and give them a ride. Then it must be terrifying to have inmates coming after you. Because it says hitchhikers may be escaping inmates. It's funny. Oh, the English language is awesome, isn't it? Um, Independent Bite says that is a badly written sign. Please help the hitchhikers escape the inmates. For sure, we want to escape the inmates. Having inmates after you is not fun. Confession. This is from r/confession entitled, I'm a fat girl who has realized she wanged up big time. I'm from India, late 20s, female, plus size, obese, fat, whatever you want to call it. I have been for a long time, been on the arranged marriage market for close to 8 months. I've had more than 8 or 9 guys reject me. None of them were strapping, 6 feet tall. amazing looking guys either. Realistically, I gave up on the idea of love a long time back. Love is conditional, and physical attractiveness is a big condition. No, that's not true. But entering into this, I thought, yeah, maybe I'll find someone like me, not lead characters in the movie, but the hero's friend or the heroine's sister, the side characters. I could make a good wife, I feel. I'm a kind-hearted person. I show up for people I love, reliable, responsible, and I have a decent job. I take care of those around me. The thing is, so do the pretty girls. They aren't monsters either, so it's not really turned out to be the plus I thought it was going to be. I get it. Obesity is just about looks a factor of health. You're on the marriage market. It's highly commoditized. It's just weird. Marriage market. Ooh, gross. You're not going to want to end up with a defective product. I'm just heartbroken because my brain can rationalize it and my heart is still waiting for someone to pick me up, to pick me. I hate that I'm putting my parents through this. I often make excuses and sometimes write a lie to my mom when guys turn me down. They're traveling, they're dating someone. I I only didn't pursue it. I'm too ashamed to accept that I got turned down yet again. I hate myself because I'm disappointed in my parents. Disappointment to my parents. Two of my coworkers are getting married, and it's so hard not to be jealous and resent them. Go to the weddings, find a guy. Like, seriously. I try not to, I do, but I still don't know why it creeps out. I don't want to look like pictures of their wedding dresses in their venue and decor. I still do. Because it's their big day and they deserve all the support from their friends, but it takes a lot of strength pushing it down the envy to do so. I know they deserve happiness. I went to the gym, made sacrifices with food to look the way they do. And honestly, they both would make much better wives in every way. I just wish I could be happier and less self-centered about it. I've not been able to say this to anyone. The shame and guilt I feel eats me up every day. I'm constantly trying to be better. I exercise more and eat healthier. I'm diagnosed with PCOS and ADHD both. So neither my hormones nor my psyche makes it any easier. Still no excuses. I wish I had done a better job. That's really sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but a lot of guys don't even care about that. A lot of guys like that. Shoppy Girl says your worth should not be defined by your appearance, financial status, or being married. I do understand in some cultures that's the case. I come from a Jewish family. My parents desperately wanted me to marry a Jewish guy. Unfortunately for me, my family was poor. I'm average looking and I'm not well educated and I did not have a great career. All of these things made my chances of finding a Jewish guy pretty low, specifically where I live. After a lot of rejection in the Jewish community, I gave up. Then I met a wonderful guy who was not Jewish. My parents were devastated when I was dating him. They were devastated and furious when I decided to marry him. It did not matter that I was a wonderful, loyal daughter to them who also helped them financially. They only cared about me being married to someone who's Jewish. It took my parents a long time to come around. I had to let them know that I wasn't going to tolerate their ignorant comments about my marriage. This month, my husband and I will be happily married 31 years. When I was younger, I just wanted to please my parents. I was constantly comparing myself to others. What you do need to realize is that you deserve happiness no matter how you look or your size. Any chances you make need to be done because you want to do them, not for anyone else. She's very um, insightful. Uninspired Hero says, I mean, you won't your kids still be Jewish since you're Jewish? They have a reason to object if that's the case. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I heard in a conversation years ago, so I could be misinterpreting. Shoppy Girl says, you're correct, however, it's a status thing. Second top rated comment is never been never banned Grace. Fatty here, no, the reassurance of strangers has no effect on me whatsoever. If anything, it's patronizing. It's pity on a simple form, and I urge you to slowly work on your habits. While I still have a long way to go, it has been incredibly fulfilling. The hardest part is starting, and you will feel much better, believe me. Also, she has ADHD, so it's going to take like 3 times as long to establish a habit. It sucks. It's so hard. Closer and Closer Earth says, your worth as a person is not defined by the arranged marriage market. And Gemini Tarius says, answers, it's a nice sentiment, but her reality is that she is defined by this arranged marriage market. That doesn't mean whatever the market says is true, but the problem still exists despite the good wishes. I hope that somebody takes her up. Somebody's gotta like her. Interesting AF. After Ohio police raided Afro Man's home and found nothing, he used his security footage to make diss tracks about them. The cops sued. Do you remember that? I remember that. Sued him for $4 million for humiliation, but a judge just ruled entirely in his favor on all 13 counts. Love that for him. If you are unaware, Afro Man is a rap singer, and the cops raided his home. Like they broke down the door, came in. He had his security cameras on because he's a wealthy man. He had lots of equipment and stuff in there. Scared his kids, and found nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was no reason for it. The lady says there's an old saying you should start an argument with someone who buys ink by the barrel. This is the modern equivalent. Second one, top rated comment is Randy Walters is the son of a bee. Sad Entertainment says that's why I winged his wife. Um, Simply can't tell says without Afroman, I would never have known that Sheriff Randy Walter is the son of a bee who got fired for drug use and then got hired at a different station after he moved. Funny how our employment or social media history can come back to haunt us when looking for a new job. As long as a cop doesn't get charged, well, then he's just a fellow brother. Yeah. Good for Afro Man. I'm so happy for him. So happy for him. I hope he sues them in return. He should. Countersuit sounds like a good thing for him to pursue. I don't know that much about the actual case. Next is from Am I the A-hole? And it is entitled AITA for being honest and telling my daughter-in-law that they are not ready to be a parent since she cannot drive. This one is driving has to do anything with parenting. Yeah, you are. I may be an A-ass here, like a huge one. We live in the US and driving is very important. Buses are not great in our area. Okay, and I met up with daughter and daughter-in-laws like once a month to get brunch or do something fun. This is about my Dill Kelly, and I overall thought we had a pretty good relationship. Kelly cannot drive. She has anxiety and refused to learn for years. Okay, what if she physically couldn't drive? What if she had um no, the name escapes me. What if she had seizures and couldn't drive? Because you can't drive when you have seizures. You can't drive if you have like mini strokes. There's lots of reasons for not being able to drive. Anxiety is one of them. My sister-in-law has terrible anxiety and can't like even visit us. We're only an hour away. Kelly cannot drive and she has anxiety and refused to learn for years. Okay. My son basically drives her everywhere. When he can't step up, I do that. Ubers are very expensive here and money is tight on their end. Over the weekend, everyone met up to go to one of our favorite spots. My son couldn't drive her, so I picked her up and drove her. Everyone was having a good time, and Kelly mentioned they're trying to get pregnant. I was shocked on the news, but I didn't say anything. The conversation moved on from there. When I was driving her home, Kelly asked why I made a face at dinner. I guess I made a face when I heard the news. I told her it was nothing and she wouldn't let it go. After she asked for the fifth time, well, okay, then she asked, I guess. I told her that I don't believe she's ready to be a parent because she cannot drive. That's stupid. That I am literally driving her places now since she literally can't get to places without help. I asked what the plan is when my son leaves for work. Hide in the house all day? What if there's an emergency or the kid needs to go to the doctor? If there's an emergency, she will call 911 like you do in emergencies. If the kid needs to go to the doctor, they will plan for that. Have me take you places Uber that they can't afford. This started a huge argument. She called me rude, and I don't see her as an independent adult. My points are the same. She called me a dick, and I don't see her as an independent adult. My son called me asking to apologize, and basically having a kid is a good idea. I just don't think it is at all, and I think she needs to hear it. My mother-in-law didn't drive until my sister-in-law was 16. And then she's like, "Dang it, I'm gonna learn how to drive because not one of my kids is gonna be able to do something that I can't do except ride a bike." Because she also couldn't do that. And she didn't. She drove nearly until she passed away. She was driving into her 90s. It was fine. I'm not even sure that she couldn't drive right before she died. My sister-in-law did do a lot for her, but I think she could still drive. Or a couple of years before, she might have chosen not to. I can't remember for sure. Drift says NTA, stop driving into places effective immediately. Let her experience right away the vulnerabilities and let her figure out the adjustments and budgets with Ubers and taxis and public transportation before she has a kid. Either she will buckle down and get her driver's license, or she will rethink the timeline because she will notice that suddenly her world shrunk because everyone isn't at her beck and call anymore. But anxiety is a real thing. Like, why are you dismissing that? It's a mental disorder. Like, if she can't drive, she can't drive. I feel like these people are treating her horribly. White Moon Garden says she wants to be a fully independent adult. Let her start solving her own problems. People are missing the fact that daughter-in-law not driving is already affecting OP's life. Now add the driving created by having kids. If OP wasn't required to be involved, yes, keep your mouth shut. But when your decisions create more work to infringe on my time, I get to say so. I mean, she doesn't have to. She can say no. Although she did insist on knowing the answer, so that's on her. Genevieve Joe says NTA, if she's anxious about driving, she's going to get even more anxious with a kid. Also, if they can't afford Ubers, then they probably can't afford a kid. Well, that's true. You're a family to these people. It would be wrong if you didn't say something. Yeah, that's true. If you can't afford a Uber to drive you around, you probably can't afford a kid. Purple Emotional says if her anxiety is so severe, it prevents her from learning to drive. It's concerning that she's so enthusiastic about parenthood. Rearing a child is much more stressful and potentially fear-inducing than driving a car, NTA. Yeah, but it's a different. Suitable Catechism says, I just want to point out that anxiety isn't a one size fits all. Just because someone has an irrational or even rational fear of something specific doesn't mean they are anxious about everything. Stress appears in a lot of ways, and she may have a mental block about driving and be perfectly fine in other high stress situations. Exactly. Madachi says, as a 56-year-old that has never had a driver's license, but managed to raise two healthy, successful children to adulthood, thank you for saying this. My kids never miss school, medical appointments, or extracurriculars just because they don't own or operate a vehicle. I spent years listening to people tell me that I just had to learn to drive and get a license. It's not that I lack the ability to operate a vehicle. I can do the basics. Empty road with no one else on it, I'm fine. It's not the vehicle that's the issue. It's the fact that other people are driving on those roads as well. People who don't understand the anxiety people like me have about driving makes us a danger to ourselves and others if we're behind a steering wheel. We're protecting us and everyone else from accidents by not driving. Someone asked her, I assume it's a her, uh, about who they relied on transportation. I'm not sure they answered. Oh, she did answer. Limited public transportation, budgeting for cabs when possible, mostly relied on my legs. I rarely asked anyone for rides. The only times I asked friends or family for rides was when I had to have medical testings or procedures that required me to provide proof of a driver to take me home. I'm not saying the mother-in-law is required to provide transportation. She's not. I'm saying that not having a driver's license is not equal to being a bad parent. Exactly. It's very possible to raise children without access to a personal vehicle. Is it harder? Yep, sure is. But harder doesn't mean impossible. Mother in law not providing transportation may be what is needed to kickstart and move toward self sufficiency. Double Cow says, right? People all over the damn world manage to raise kids without owning a car. I mean, if my daughter-in-law needed to ride her around, I would do that. She'd have to put the seats in the car, though. They really need to do that. Next is from Overheard, and it is entitled "People Think of You Differently When They Know." So this was actually a while ago, but it has lived rent-free in my head ever since, and I think this is the perfect spot for it. I was out of town and sitting in a small cafe waiting for my travel partner. We are the only other two customers in the cafe, early 20-something women sitting together and speaking in serious tones. It was raining outside and the cafe was fairly quiet, so While I was not trying to eavesdrop, I could clearly hear the other side of the conversation of the young woman sitting closest to me, but not the other. She says, "Well, we just appreciate it if you didn't share it with the group." Person two answers. Person one, "Well, I mean, of course, people will probably find out eventually. It's not like I am ashamed or anything. Like, if anyone comes to my place, they will probably notice things, and it's a big part of who I am, just." At this point, I was very intrigued and couldn't stop myself from listening. Person two says something else, and person one says, "Exactly. There's just some people in the group who I would just not like to get to know me better before they find out because, they think of people differently." Person two says something, and person one says, "Yeah, but of course I'm not trying to hide that I have a horse." I'm still trying to figure out exactly what she was so concerned about. I still think about it sometimes. Maybe the horse is in the house. Maybe it's like one of those tiny horses that you can let live in the house. Tech Life says stinking. I'm stinking rich. Argumentative Bird says horse owners are not necessarily rich. They can also be irresponsible. Um, I've never known a rich person that had a horse, and I've known lots of people with horses. I've never known a rich person that has a. I just don't know rich people. Lemony says, in fact, most horse owners are not rich. This is coming from a non-rich horse owner. While not all of us are irresponsible with money, horses are very really expensive hobby for something that is essentially a pet that can die from a stomach ache. Yeah, my horse died from a stomach ache, and I'm not rich, and I owned a horse. I owned a horse when I was 3 years old. I was pregnant too. I had another horse. Then I owned two horses, and then I got another horse, and I had three horses. And then my parents divorced. I didn't have any horses for a while, and then I had a horse, and then it died of a stomach ache. Second top right comment is from Candy Woman says, "I went to a school with horse people. I live in Kentucky surrounded by horse people. No, they're not always rich, but they're always weird. Horse people are weird." Now, now Neek Ideas says, When I was little, my heart's desire was to have a horse. Every birthday wish, every Christmas list, every chat with Santa, I wanted a horse. My father would have none of it, even though we lived on a farm. Still no. We were even offered a free horse. Still no. Oh, that's terrible. I thought my little heart would break, and then I got older and started meeting horse people, and yeah, maybe that's why." Dashka says that horse may be the reason she's in college. I don't know what that means. There's a YouTube video. All right, next we have True Off My Chest, and it's entitled "I Can't, I'm Holding the Baby." Hi, I'm an overstimulated mom, and when my baby was a newborn slash infant, my husband would periodically say, after being asked to help me with something at random times, that he can't help me because he's holding the baby. Because the baby can't be put down? I quote, "I can't, I'm holding the baby." One day our marriage just died. I snapped at him, I ignored him, I didn't like sleeping next to him. I did everything by myself, and I didn't ask him for help with anything. The only time he even cared was like on the third day of me walking by and ignoring him every time he spoke to me. He finally came over and helped me with the laundry because he could see that he had taken it too far and that I didn't want anything to do with him. He could have spent all day in a different room and I would just not have missed him because it was so sickening that he'd use the baby to not have to help me with anything or get anything done around the house. This was last year and he no longer uses the baby as an excuse to sit on his butt. I verbally told him I wasn't attracted to him anymore and he can just be our daughter's dad because I'm so wanging sick of him. I don't even want him to touch me anymore. He got his crap together real quick. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Thoughtleys Thoughtlessy says, "So he knew what he was doing the whole time," is what I'm reading. "They aren't lonely enough. Good on you for telling them the truth. I refuse to let a man play in my face like this." Hey, have a great day answered, "My ex-spouse was like this, except he was never holding the baby. I told him many times how exhausted and unsupported I felt. I remember coming back from a work trip my second time in 3 years away from house to a pile of laundry that hadn't been folded. Was there when I left for the trip, so after I put the kids to bed, I started folding laundry, and he tried to help me. I said, 'Don't you dare touch this laundry,' and I want a divorce. Sometimes they know and do not care." Second top rated comment is from Azriel. And it says, I hope he keeps this crap together. My dad does this, and it's gotten so annoying. We don't even ask for his help anymore. The other day, he was supposed to bring stuff to the basement, but he thought it was perfect time to walk the dogs. So as we started, whenever he does actually help, he just starts launching crap down the stairs. And we have to tell him he can't take care of that. We can take care of the rest. The weaponized incompetence is maddening. For you and your baby's sake, if he gets that bad again, please leave him. It's not worth sacrificing your mental health for somebody like that. 100%. Why are you still with him? Why are you even still with him if you're not like attracted to him anymore? That's not a marriage. That's roommates. Guru says, I can't. I'm holding the baby is the absolute worst offense, considering that women constantly accomplish things while holding their child. Yes, I've cooked dinner holding the baby. I've done dishes holding the baby. Washed the floor holding the baby. My babies did not like to be put down, which is fine. They are very independent right now, and that's all that counts. Constant Internet says used to have to go to the toilet holding the baby. She was a clingy crier. I couldn't put her down without her flinging herself in a flaming rage that would make her breathless. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. What do I do? Entitled got sent 200 red roses, but I don't know who should I be concerned. I don't know who should I be concerned. The occasion is thank you, so I doubt anyone is in love with me or smitten. I don't SMT. I'm quite paranoid, so I need your help because literally have no idea who this is. Any advice is appreciated. So there was a card with nothing but thank you to like bruh could be any sus brokey. If they're sending you 200 roses, I doubt they're a brokey, honey. Somebody says if you have a senior living facility nearby, just donate them there. Then relax since you have no idea what it's all about. If in the future somebody asks you about it, you can tell them the flowers made a senior's day. I mean, that's a good idea. Senior living facilities, they will take the flowers and they take the flowers from funerals a lot. So if you have a funeral, find a senior citizen center and take it there. They'll divvy up the flowers and vases and give it to the residents. It's really nice. I used to work at a senior home. OP says, good idea. I'll ask around, and if not, I'll just let it go because a gift this sus makes me. Why is it sus? I don't get it. I don't get why you're so concerned about it. Somebody give you 200 freaking roses. I'd be happy. Somebody says it seems like more than just a thank you. Somebody says it's probably 300 roses, $300. They're not from the U.S. They're from the UK because it says 150 pounds. Inspiring Hope says, can you call the florist and tell them you're a minor and unexpected delivery? um, I don't know. Did you? Okay, so they haven't replied. They have no number. That's sus. Phone lines aren't being manned. She tried to call him. All right. I don't know. I guess I should have asked for. I will go back. I will go back and see if I can find. No, hidden posts. So no update. It's from entitled parents and is entitled Mother kept calling wellness checks on me. Well, that can be annoying. So I've always suffered from depression. I was first diagnosed when I was 10. Oh, you poor thing. That sounds horrible. About 12 years ago, when I was around 25, I went through a somewhat nasty breakup. I was feeling pretty rotten, so I called my mother just to vent. She didn't answer, so I left a voicemail saying, "Hey, can we talk?" and went to sleep. About 3 hours later, around 3 a.m., I'm in bed sleeping. I hear a bunch of banging on my apartment door. I'm not expecting anyone. I assume it's for my roommate. Ignore it, go back to sleep. Like 20 minutes later, someone opens the front door, start shouting, "Residents of apartment number, come out and make yourself known. Come out with your hands up." I repeat, "Come out with your hands up." What the heck? This is not cool. I'm like, what the wang is going on? So I start putting on clothes while I'm still half naked. The sheriff's apartment deputies barge into my room with guns pointed at me. "That's not how you handle a wellness check, sir." And start shouting at me to put my hands up. I'm legit freaking out. I have no clue what's going on. They tell me to finish getting dressed. I do. And then they demand I hand them my phone, unlocked. So I do. They start going through my phone and didn't. I guess they didn't find anything that they were looking for. Then they demand to see my meds. I had a couple bottles of antidepressants, anti-anxiety, stomach meds. Rest in peace due to irritable Down syndrome. And a bottle of over-the-counter sleep aid. All of my prescriptions were in various states of fullness, but the sleeping aid was almost empty. Mind you, I still have no clue what's going on. So they see the empty arrow bottle, and then they radio for EMS. I assume they downed the entire bottle. They assumed I downed the entire bottle without even asking me and called EMS. Oh my gosh. You can look at the freaking date. They checked me out and concluded I was fine. EMS informed me that my mom called 911 and told them I was in the process of killing myself. Well, I mean, if somebody's killing themselves, that's also not how you do that. You do not arrest them, essentially. She freaking did this because I left a voicemail saying I wanted to talk. She didn't bother calling me back. She didn't even bother calling you back? She didn't text me asking what was up, nothing. After all of this cleared up and left, I called my mom asking what the wang she was doing. All she had to say was I was worried. I told her that if she was so worried, she should have called me back to talk to me. I also told her to never do this again. Well, she did it again, 2 more times. Once because she texted me at 5 a.m. and didn't reply right away. I can't remember the last reason. After 3 wellness checks, the cops come to me with guns out and a thorough search, concluding that absolutely nothing was wrong, and they started refusing her future requests. Thank goodness. Now, it's the boy who cried wolf. Now, if there's an actual emergency, they're not going to come. Yes, after 3 checks, she still continued to attempt more, but fortunately got denied. Sorry for the super long post, not that long. Hope you enjoyed my style edit. This all happened several years ago. Thank you for all the advice, but this is longer than past, and my mother has since passed away. Jeez, poor kid. I feel so bad for them. This is from Oh No Consequences and is entitled Bride to be deliberately leaves OOP without a seat, ends up losing her wedding and relationship. It's from Best of Redder updates. Uh, Fiance's Mother-in-law's fiance claims my family never RSVP'd and I'm the only one without a seat. That's curious, isn't it? It's a long one, so I gotta get prepared here. This is a throwaway because I'm not quite ready for all of my husband's family to get involved, I think. I'm still really trying to process this, so bear with me. My brother in law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. So, wouldn't it follow that the mom and the wife would be there? That doesn't make sense. I'm a part time party planner, so I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So, I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. The RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it this the same day the invitation came in the mail. My husband was sitting right next to me. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us, me, my husband, and my son. Easy peasy, right? You shouldn't even had to RSVP. That should just be if 2 of the 3 of you are in the wedding, it just follows that yes, we count these people as being at the wedding. Like how hard is that? My brother-in-law's fiance reached out today over text saying we never RSVP'd. Not, hey, we never saw your RSVP, but just checking, but straight up you didn't respond, which is frustrating on its own. But when she tells me that While my husband and son have seats at the reception as they are part of the original head count, I do not. Why wouldn't you include her in the original head count? That's crazy. My husband was told that I could come early with him to set up the luncheon still and stay for the ceremony, but that I would not have a spot at the reception. That's wild. Let me repeat that. I'm married to the best man, the mother of the ring bearer, and helping with the wedding day logistics, including connecting Sil with some of my professional contacts. And she somehow decided I just wouldn't be coming. She never followed up before the RSVP deadline, and just what? This is why you take pictures of everything. I'm torn between feeling hurt, furious, and just flabbergasted. Yes, I can understand that. And used. I definitely feel used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake that she's not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion. I'm not sure which stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what's going on because I genuinely don't trust myself to be polite and keep the peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in laws. So, yeah, this is totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear thoughts, especially from people who've gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this is all new territory for me as a pseudo vendor guest. My husband wants us to reach out and talk to his brother first. I would do that, yeah. I'm so tempted to reach out to my mother in law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter, you are smart to wait and let Hubs talk to his brother. I'm flabbergasted also. That's freaking nuts. And this is coming from someone who is totally laid back and not someone who usually takes things personally. Just try to take your mind off it and see what Hubs reports from there. Go from there. OOP, I'm usually laid back too. I haven't seen the text yet, but Hubs called my Hubs called us on his lunch break when he saw them. I have not heard from him this it's been a long time. I'm trying to give Sil the benefit of the doubt, but it feels very personal and intentional. Yes. It feels cray cray, honestly. Commenter, cancel the luncheon. If you are not welcome at the wedding, there's no need for you to be free labor. OOPs, I think I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome is. It puts mother-in-law and father-in-law in a bit of a lurch since they're handling the food costs, but I don't know. I know I'm biased because I'm in the middle of it, but I feel like there should be some consequences. I don't think I would cancel anything. Mini update, same post, 1.5 hours later. Edit from the comments. Small update. My husband and brother-in-law are talking now. Bill was not working today last night and was helping father-in-law with something this evening. When I called Mill, she had Bill call husband right away. From what Mill and I can hear, or Snoopy, my husband is muted on Bill's phone and my contact was deleted. That's weird. Bill can't log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP was there. I'm not sure if I want it to become firecracker myself or get some popcorn as I watch Mill pop off. Well, at least our in-laws seem okay. Mini update, same post, 2 hours later, 3.5 from original post. Edit 2 from comments. Okay. Here's the last update for the night. I'm tired and a bit overwhelmed by all your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to them all, but I have read most of them. Again, thank you for your advice and just general support during this really weird and upsetting time. TLDR, brother-in-law did not know, and now the wedding is up in the air. He's currently staying with mother-in-law and father-in-law to have some space from sister-in-law. So my husband finally got a hold of Bill after I called Mill. No one knew this was going on. While they were talking, Bill tried logging into their wedding website to see if this was a mistake or misunderstanding, but couldn't log in. So he texted his sister-in-law to see if she changed the password, and she told him to just come home instead. This set up 3. 1. Bill ended the call with husband to call Sil about why she couldn't answer a simple question. 2. Mill popped off about how dare that woman exclude OP. I like hey, green flags for this mother-in-law. Green freaking flags. So that is the proper answer to that. 3. Mother-in-law and father-in-law popped off on Bill already living with Sil. Oh, they're very religious and traditional and don't believe that couples should live together before marriage. Husband and I sympathize with Bill. Yeah, that does have nothing to do with the situation. Bill and Sil argued over the phone. Apparently, she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch and it was too late to add another seat now. Although, you are going to have people that don't show up for the wedding almost assuredly because things happen. Then it was we never jived, and would it really be so bad if I went home early? Yes. I mean, yeah, this day is all about you, but it's also about your family and the family you're marrying into and your freaking husband, lady. Oh, I can't with people like this. Please, plus I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then at 5 p.m. No. This woman does not know my kid, don't know kids, especially when they've been hopped up on sugar and pop all day, probably. Brother-in-law is spending the night with his parents and is unsure about the wedding now. His plans on going home tomorrow with husband going with for moral support. I will be going with hubby to my in-laws to hang out while we hear back from the situation at the battlefront. More of OOP's comments. OOP adds, initially I wasn't invited to the bridal shower. Well, that should have been clue number one. That was a red flag. Then her mom brought up Easter dinner, and that's when I was awkwardly invited. Another red flag. Now I'm not surprised she wasn't invited to or wasn't, she was invited but banned from the weird. Weird. She doesn't like my hobbies, specifically TTRPGs and video games. They're hobbies I have in common with mother-in-law. That's interesting. And sister-in-law stopped bashing them as much when she found out mother-in-law also partakes in quests across Tamriel and Forgotten Realm. I'm gonna have to check those out. They sound fun. Mini update 3 in comments 2 hours later. Sorry, one more teeny 1 a.m. update. Husband is asleep. I should be too, but I'm still really pissed. I thought to take screen cap of the message she sent hubby for future proof, and it's gone. She used Facebook Messenger to text my husband, and it says her texts are all deleted. Dare I say arg? Yes. You should always, when she didn't invite you to the bridal shower and she didn't invite you to Easter, um, that's when you should have started like screenshotting everything. Take note. If crap like that starts happening to you, screenshot everything. Everything. Update post June 22nd, 2 days from original post. Update. Bill's fiance claims my family never RSVP. Yeah, okay. Or I'm going to say it anyway. Title update. Bill's fiance claims my family never RSVP'd, but I'm the only one without a seat. Or OP can't sleep after word vomiting this in her journal, so why not post the update? So, hi. To preface, I did not expect my post to blow up in the way it did. Several commenters mentioned it just popped up on the recommended, and holy jeez, it got way bigger than I could have ever imagined. So, thank you. I think this is super overwhelming on top of the real life soap opera I'm living through this weekend. Just to clarify something from the original post, I did not plan everything for the wedding. I offered to bring food for a small luncheon between photos 10 a.m. and the ceremony 4 p.m. as dinner wasn't planned until 6. It was going to be a long day at a farm in the middle of nowhere. I offered to do it to be nice, but also to make sure no one, specifically a certain 4-year-old, would be hangry for the ceremony. Makes sense. Sister-in-law is only used to one of my vendor contacts. Only used Sister-in-law also only used one of my vendor contacts. So with things going south, my professional reputation shouldn't really be impacted. Well, that's good. Update. Turns out the no seat for OP issue was the problem that broke brother-in-law's relationship, and we're a bit upset Bill didn't talk to anybody about this until it blew up. Oh, poor Bill. Poor brother-in-law. Behind the scenes, Bill and Sil were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, she gave the impression that she wanted children someday. But as they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, brother-in-law realized that it's very likely Sil never wanted kids, but felt too invested in the relationship to leave. But Bill always imagined having a large family, so this really shook him. That is a deal breaker, for sure. You lied. You lied about wanting to have kids. That's a deal breaker. On top of that, sister-in-law apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. Per Bill, I have been her latest target, which started when I turned down going to a mani-pedi with her. Why did I turn it down? Husband and son had rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread gastrointestinal doom. Can anyone please explain this logic to us? No, I would not want to be around anyone whose family had rotavirus. That's the other day we could not figure out the name for rotavirus. I completely forgot about it. We were talking about somebody had it like, for like a week. Throw up for a week. Rotavirus is worse than norovirus. I'll take norovirus anytime. It's short lived. It doesn't kill you. N- Rotavirus can kill you because you can't because it lasts longer. uh, Lastly, sister-in-law was already floating around the idea of disinviting our son from the reception because he would have been the only small child there. Brother-in-law shut that down immediately, and Mill and Phil kept that knowledge from us to spare our feelings. This sounds like a good family. Green flags for this family. They may do the wrong things, but they do it for totally reasonable reasons. Ergo, our lost RSVP was not a software glitch, nor was it an oversight, but rather a stupidly calculated move. Syl was apparently hoping one of two things would happen. Either I would make a scene about being disinvited and be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she would not have to deal with two undesirables at her reception. With all of this in mind, I can't figure out why she would have messaged my husband instead of me. Why was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is not logicking. Of course, she's trying to cause family drama. She wants you and your husband to not be in her family. Brother-in-law was already feeling some kind of uncertainty because of the shifting kids, no kids conversation. But the deliberate seating stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. Thank goodness this happened. Thank goodness this happened. Thank goodness she showed her hand. She prematurely showed her hand. But the deliberate stunt, Bill told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he could not overlook. So he ended things and asked for the ring back. No wedding, no reception, just super messy, emotionally heavy, and expensive breakup. I feel so bad for Bill. He's going through so much heartache right now, and he deserves better in a partner. Hopefully, sister in law can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never ending battlefield. She's never going to find that. That's never going to happen for her. She sounds horrible. That's all for now. I'm still tired and still flabbergasted. I'm also relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. Commenter says, your non-sil is an idiot. He says you'll hear no arguments from us. Commenter, oh, poor brother-in-law, expensive heartache, but glad he's out before an expensive divorce. He will find somebody for him. Take some rest, y'all. Oh, OP says, I know he'll find somebody that will be perfect for him. I'm still annoyed with him, though. Be- he was lamenting being old and alone at dinner. And I was like, honey, you're the baby of the family. Have some more fries and shut up. Commenter, a couple things. One, the trash is taking itself out. My heart goes out for your brother-in-law, but I reckon with the full support of your incredible family, Future is going to look back on all of this and be so proud of how he handled it as well as every member of your family. What time is it? I'm on a time schedule today, sorry. Oh, it's only 2:30. Okay, we're good. Um, hoping to get done with this in the next hour or so. Uh, have your bill have your brother-in-law get ahead of the counseling, help him reach out to guests on both sides, and offer to bake cookies or something and deliver them to local guests, maybe as a gesture of good faith. Everyone will remember that kindness. We're also proud of you. Many of us would have gone scorched earth, but cooler heads prevailed. Take a break, babes. You all deserve it. And OP says your number 2 point is a great idea. Thank you. Mother-in-law bakes when she's trying not to be upset, so their household is overflowing with baking treats right now. I'll ask brother-in-law if this is something he wants to do tomorrow and go from there. Commenter, how long were they together? Under 2 years. The wedding day was their dating anniversary. They should have waited like 3 more years. Commenter, her poorly executed treachery turns out to be a blessing in disguise for Bill. Had she not hatched this ill-fated plot and sabotaged the phone, etc., he would have been married. She would have been married to this monster. Her cover-up, ironically, was the evidence of the truth. On another note, this is really unusual and why the post got so much attention. We see overly, mostly obnoxious content, but this scenario is unique. She really outdid almost every crappy bridezilla. How did the conversation with your husband and go? How did the conversation with your husband and him go? There was obviously some admissions. Did you get a sense of the tone of the talk? I was wondering, OP says, I was wondering why my little vent and need for advice is trending. Besides sister in law's poorly done power trip, I don't think this was an unusual situation. I don't know all of the details of the convo my husband had with Bill, but my understanding is on the drive to the apartment, my husband asked, "Hey, what's your game plan? Because this is full on crazy and not okay." And Bill opened up with him about everything that was going on. How ex-sister-in-law reacted. Per brother-in-law, there was a lot of begging and crying. There was also anger and accusation that he was cheating with me. Oh my gosh. She was cheating then. Followed by professions of love and offers to go to therapy. She also kept taking the items he was packing up out of his bags until he called my husband to come in and be another set of eyes. Mark just concluded because OOP said in a comment she didn't plan on updating anymore. Oh, that was a ride. Fire says, remember this one. OOP was immediately going to cancel her precipitate precipitation participation. I'm all held up on rain. Participation, regardless of whether the invite issue was fixed, which shows the strength of her character. I don't know how sister-in-law thought she'd fold. Also, pretend you don't want kids to keep a relationship is always a dumb idea. OP says, "Yep, that's what gets me." She really thought, uh, oh, no, the person who posted the OP, not OOP. Yep, that's what gets me. Sister-in-law really thought OOP would just quietly accept it. And yeah, lying about wanting kids is basically a time bomb in any relationship. Next top rated comment is from Little Journey, and it says, "Wow, what a story. Glad brother-in-law and the whole family avoided adding that walking emotional disaster to their lives. I'm such a people pleaser that I was helping serve guests and running errands during my own wedding reception until I got stopped and told to set my book back down with the and let the help do the helping. I just can't imagine the mindset of some people. Well, the opposite of somebody I know. Extra kudos to OP and OP's husband for acting how the spouses should act, letting each deal with sticky situations with their side of extended family and backing up their spouse. Plus, I want this gamer, mother-in-law gamer who bakes yummies win-win." OP says, "For real, I imagine trying to exclude the best man's wife and expecting everything to go smoothly. And yeah, mother-in-law being a gamer plus baker is such a winning combo." I love it. I want to be friends with the mother-in-law. She sounds awesome. Third top rated comment is from Vast Swimmer. It says, "I love how the bride's plan was derailed because she could not comprehend what functional people communicate with each other and advocate for their loved ones. She legit thought changing a Wii password about lying about RSVPs would work. She's not the brightest bulb for sure, clearly. Mildly infuriating. 8 a.m. class, I got there at 7:48. I was already marked absent. I argued with him for 15 minutes after class because I was there before the start time of class. He changed it too late and will not give me full credit for it. That's rude." 2 minutes? Mm. Oh no, he got there 2 minutes earlier. 2 minutes before class started. No, that's not cool. Go to the principal. OP provided an update. Okay, cool. Um, Update. I had a meeting and my attendance was changed. They are going to meet with the professor tomorrow when he is on campus. Also, road closure caused me to not be 20 to 25 minutes early like I was going to be. They were supposed to send out an email at 6 a.m. that never got sent. Wasn't my fault and was beyond my control, and I was quite literally the school's fault. Update to all because it will not let me edit the original post. I emailed my advisor and she's setting up a meeting with the head of the department after I get out of class at 12:15. I'm not the first or only person to complain about this guy this semester. He's apparently been doing this to a lot of people. I'm just walking out of class now on my way to the meeting. We have spring break next week, so I fully assume whatever's going to happen will happen during that week. Some answers to the frequently asked questions. They were shooting a movie on the corner of one road that takes you in and out of that building. If I did not have to wait through 20 to 25 minutes of traffic until they let me through, I would have been 20 to 25 early like I usually am. This is why I'm always half an hour early. Psychology class for my double major of psychology and criminal justice. 50% of the grade is attendance. That's ridiculous. 15 is assignments and 35 is grade exams. Attendance should be at most 5%. That's ridiculous. No, they're adults. They don't have to come to class if they don't want to. No way. No, there are only four people. There are not only four people in the class. That's my personal attendance record for every class we have had. There have been quite a few snow days, and we only met one time per week. Hence, why there are so little. There are 27 adults in the class, and only four of us passed the first exam. Yikes! Yes, attendance is really 50% of the grade. This guy sucks. Native Strawberry answers 50% for attendance is just way too much. This professor should ask him why everyone seems so intent on avoiding his custody. DJC says, my favorite professor used to love this game. Every class he'd play this game on explain the syllabus one day. Prof, attendance is expected. Student, what does that mean? Prof, it means I expect you to be here. Student, does our final grade depend on attendance? Professor, if I'm doing my job, it will. Student, I don't get it. What percentage of our final grade is attendance? Professor, none, of course. If you don't want to come, I suspect the grades will take care of themselves. Exactly. KDBA says, back in my first year of uni, I had a lecturer who liked the line, attendance is optional, so is passing. If you can pass the class without attending, I mean, more power to you, to be honest. I certainly couldn't. I had to be in class. Mudcrab Serpent says, time to escalate OP. Yep, if your professor's grading you on attendance and you aren't late, you need to fight for your grade. That's insanity. Class starts at 8, not 7:58. Suited the Hill says, I was in one of those universities where you had a minimum of 75% attendance to be eligible to take the exams. That's crazy. Some professors use that as a way to make our lives hell for similar reasons. Like they'd mark you absent and simply wouldn't listen to you when you tried to explain the reason to them. I can't believe there's places out there like that. Oh, he did get the second top rated comment with that. That's crazy. I can't even imagine having, like, you're adult. You're an adult. You don't need to go to class. Some people have jobs, you know. It's crazy. Okay, next we have MAO reacting and is entitled AIO by moving to the couch after a fight over a missed text. Probably. I'll show you just a little bit of what was said. It looks. Do you think this will look good on my truck? Because I've been thinking about getting this. I support whatever you want. You don't already have one? No. Also, can you get me a towel? I came here without one like an a-hole. I'm practically almost dry from air drying. That was at 9:18 and at 9:24, so less than 10 minutes. That's sorry, do you still need one? And he says no. On Monday, my husband came home from work early because he wasn't feeling well, and I tiptoed around the house to be respectful while working from home. When he woke up, I made dinner and locked himself in the bathroom for one of his multi-day 45-minute bathroom trips. Well, he needs to see a doctor. I made tacos and he came out of the bathroom. The first thing he did was say, "You don't have taco sauce?" All exasperated. We sat down to dinner. He says, "This tastes salty." He sounds like a gem. My husband has never said that to me. He'll say, "It's okay." Sometimes he'll tell me it's really good. He does sometimes tell me I don't like this, especially if it's pork. While staring at his phone, I finished and left the table without saying anything. It has become a regular thing that he just criticizes dinner. Maybe after eating he will thank me, but he always leads with complaints. That's terrible. He tells me he will clean the tub out. Honestly, it's pretty clean and 10,000 times better than the way he lived for me to take a bath. I said okay. I thanked him profusely for doing it and took a bath. I was getting dried off when he came in and was actually annoyed and said, "I thought you were going to take a shower after I was going to join you," and then got in the shower, clearly upset with me. I literally never shower after a bath, and frankly, I had already showered that day and was taking a bath for relaxation. I assumed it was making up for him telling me not take a bath in the other night for my sore muscles because he would massage me, which lasted 5 minutes and resulted in sex without satisfaction for me. Of course, I said nothing unkind about that. So he's not doing his due diligence here. Then I left the bathroom. He texted me something about a part to a truck from the shower, and I read it and responded to it, kindly put the phone down and got dressed. I picked up the phone back up 13 minutes later, and I was in trouble. He forgot a towel when he got in the shower and texted me to bring him one. Some things to note. The bathroom was literally directly across from the linen closet. Why couldn't he just go get a towel, honestly? Why don't you have towels in the bathroom? I have towels in the bathroom. The bathroom has a nice hair dryer that would dry your whole body in like 20 seconds. I use it all the time when I forget a towel. Why are you forgetting a towels? That's weird. The bedroom is close enough for you to just shout my name if you don't see me checking my texts. He did not choose to call. Please see the text exchange. When he came back in the room, he was mad. Firing off personal insults. I'm having an issue with my son, and he's about to be kicked out of the house over getting a girl pregnant and not getting a better job to accommodate it. And earlier in the day, he refused to answer me about contacting the mother of his baby. This situation extremely stressful to me and deeply emotional. He immediately fires, "You don't answer your phone, so no wonder your kids ignore you. They learn this from you." And I was like, "Are you being serious?" Over a mixed text and a towel. He told me I should have ran to the bathroom with a towel when I saw the message. Said he was almost done drying 5 minutes before I saw the text. Why would I run? He calls me a bitch and tells me I'm the only one allowed to be upset. Then I get up to walk away from the conversation. He throws a pillow at me and tells me to go to sleep on the floor. So I've slept on the couch for 3 days now, and honestly, I think my feelings are changing about him. He told me I win and to come back to bed, but he isn't acknowledging his behavior in any way. Am I overreacting for moving to the couch after such a disgusting outburst? I've already had the talks about him calling me names and clearly getting more casual that a nothing situation would result in being called names after a day of me being considerate to him and to crap every time we interact. This is not about his text. This guy, he should leave just because he's a terrible person. It has nothing to do with towel. This has to do with him. Signed up just for that. It says the missed text is not the issue here. In italic. Cherry Amour says, "Yeah, based on the title and the screenshot, I'm thinking this is pretty cut and dried. Yeah, your husband is petty, not overreacting, but holy crap, the way the husband treats her is insane. I don't know if she just needed to vent or what, but there's no way she thinks the text is the main issue. For her to say she's just starting to see him differently when he sounds like a full-time a-hole, girl, run." You are Antichrist says, "Sounds like the time on the couch is giving her a reality check about who he is." Critica says, "I don't know, call me a witch, but I would never let a man make me feel so bad in my own home that I pay the bills on that I would be sleeping on the couch while he sleeps in my big comfortable bed. You can go sleep on the couch or find a motel room." Yeah, she's not overreacting. If anything, she's underreacting. Sanity has left me says there's so much to unpack here. Is this a marriage that just started last week after knowing each other for a month? Like, She says, OP says, married in October, met last April. In November, yeah, that's not enough time to get to know each other, girl. In November, I found out he had been cheating on T until our marriage. I tried after, but she was pissed off and outed him. She told me he doesn't like me. Smooth as this is. I feel like this was perhaps an important detail. Okay, girl, run twice because this is bad. Oh my goodness. Multiple 45-minute trips in the bathroom feels like too on the nose for some of the more recent posts. My guess is this belongs in r/m by the angel. We should pick that one up too, maybe. I doubt there'd be much on there. Deleted says, dude, he hates you. Okay. What time is it now? All right. We might be able to finish. I have to reply to this. Sorry. We'll do the old fashioned way. The kids don't know what that means. Do you guys know what 10-4 means? Um, I'm trying to think now. Now I have to do math. I'm sorry. I forgot what time the thing is. We're trying to figure out if my husband needs to leave earlier. Na, 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 na. Oh, there it is. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Um, I think I'm gonna have to write down stuff. Okay, I have a pen and a piece of paper here. I have a piece of paper because it's a scam that I got in the mail, which is really weird. Okay. Need 90 minutes. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, 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 that should be good. That should be good. Okay. Sorry. Life happens. Deleted says, dude, he hates you. And Our B says, please listen to this comment and help me help see you more clearly. This isn't a normal relationship conflict. He criticizes your cooking immediately instead of showing appreciation. He expects you to drop everything you're doing to serve him. He gets angry over a mixed test instead of handling it himself. He turns a small issue into a full blown fight. He calls you a witch, insults your parenting just to hurt you. He throws things at you when you try to walk away. He tells you to sleep on the floor as punishment. This is not frustration. That's not a bad day. Weighing that and the horse he rode in on. This is abuse. Protect yourself. Life is way too short to be unloved by your own husband. 150%. Holy cow. Wonder if she has a update. No, that's her only post. And she does have another thing from overreacting. Hopefully that'll show up next month. It's from 8 days ago. Yeah, no, you're not overreacting. You're underreacting. You need to get a divorce. I don't know why you married this guy so fast. It's crazy. That's insane. Server life is this haircut. Okay, it's cute. I think that's a cute haircut. She's just showing off. Cute. Look at her. Look at that cutie pie. It's super cute. Why would that not be okay? Okay, so I'm a waiter, waitress in a one-star Michelin restaurant, and I'm all new. Literally, I'm an apprentice. I wanted to ask your opinion about this haircut. I'm thinking of getting to look a little more androgynous. I'm also going to dye my hair black as my boss allowed me to. I'm also thinking about getting that side bang in the last slide. I do have a hairpin to pin it out of my eyes at work. What do you guys think? I think it's cute. Okay, Degree says, this is super cute. My main concern would be not being able to put your hair up. OP says, yeah, I asked my boss and he says, okay, if it's too short to put my hair up, he just wants it to look nice and not sway everywhere in the plate, which obviously it won't. It's short, short. Yeah, that's a super cute haircut. Somebody else says they've worked in places, Decoy actually, says they've worked in places with similar haircuts and there were no issues. And the third top part comments that haircut's gonna make you howl at the moon, shoot out the light in a small town Saturday night. Next is best of Redditor updates. Oh, that's why. Okay, cool. We are gonna be get done on time. Awesome. Or before time. This is from Made Me Smile. It's set entitled. Oh no, sorry. Best of Redditor updates. Um, entitled "We Are a Small Indie Porn Company." Former model wants her videos removed, unwilling to buy the copyright. Sends threatening messages. Well, I'm sorry. I believe you probably signed something, ma'am. I'm not the OOP. OOP is so somebody else. It's the title. We are a small town indie. Okay, it's the same. Original post legal advice. September 2nd, 2017. She worked for us between 2019 and 2012. She has 17 videos on our site, although we recorded 20 and plan to release the other 3 in the future. This is more or less 10% of all the videos we have. She first came to us earlier in this year and asked what the process was to have her videos removed. She's getting married and her husband is not comfortable with these videos of her being online. Well, maybe she should have made better decisions before she got married. We've quoted her the price of $25,000 per video to purchase the copyright with the contents for all 14 of her videos. 3 of his videos are very popular among our members, and we've quoted $100,000 per video for those. We also quoted $20,000 for the unreleased videos, so overall it was $710,000. We gave her a discount and called it $700,000. Some discount there. Also, the contract will allow us to continue using the materials for a further 12 months. This is time to give us time to produce replacement content. This is more than a fair offer in the industry. She wouldn't be getting anything close to this offer from a big studio. She chose not to take her offer because she probably can't afford it. She offered $100,000 for the entire thing to be removed immediately when we declined. She has, however, been sending us letters threatening legal action if we do not accept her $100,000 offer. She's going nowhere with that. Saying we are violating the good faith and fair dealing covenant by not accepting her offer, and she will be taking us to court. Letters are not from a lawyer. Relevant comments. CLD says, as long as you have a model release signed by her, you most likely are fine legally. With that said, she can still make your life difficult if she gets a lawyer to sue you. And of course, if this is the case, gets attention that will hamper your ability to recruit future models. Have you considered working out a payment plan with her or something along those lines? OOP says, I didn't mention a payment plan, but mentioned to her that she can buy them one by one if the entire fee is too much, which would be similar to a payment plan. Somebody else says the flip side is the Streisand effect. If she does sue, how would her future husband feel about that? Night Manager says, I would think that going public would be ironically increase the value of the videos. Did you see that girl on the news on that porn site? Yeah, they would get lots of traffic. Finnery says, if you have 700,000 assets at stake, you can't afford a consultation with a real life person lawyer. Do it. OOP says, we're thinking about getting a lawyer when she gets one or if we're sued. but 700K isn't at stake because she won't pay for them. We're just hoping she would disappear without causing problems. However, says, uh, not a lawyer, but a player in the industry. Get an industry. Oh, squirrel. Get an industry lawyer advice on this situation. Technically, if your model release is solid, a performer can pound sand, but that doesn't mean she won't become the biggest pain in the butt you've had to deal with or start threatening affiliates if you have a program. They seem to love this, and I'm constantly forwarding mails to my affiliate reps to send up their pipeline. Go to one of the industry forums and ask for your lawyer recommendations if you don't know any industry lawyers. Oh, he says, yeah, thanks, but it's about time we start a working relationship with a lawyer. We had one who solved a few issues in the past, but that person has retired. We haven't had any issues lately. Update October 5th, 2017, 1 month later. There's a lot to discuss. We did a little research and turns out her stories about getting married and her husband wanting the videos down were lies. She's in fact starting a membership program on her own website and wanted to use that excuse to get our videos at reduced prices to post them later onto her own website. She wanted to use the exclusivity to get some of our paid members and have a larger library at launch. Once she realized that we knew of her plans, she offered to pay the full $700,000. However, we declined since we have no interest in allowing her to use our videos to compete with us. She even offered to pay $1 million if we agreed to take down the videos immediately upon the sale. We, of course, declined and informed her that we are no longer willing to discuss terms about selling our copyright. One other small studio that she has worked with in the past had already fallen for her lies and sold the videos at non-competing prices. We are happy we didn't. We learned a new lesson. People in the business get better deals. People lie in the business to get better deals. Some Reddit guy comments, wait, I didn't understand this right. A porn star made it by jealous husband fantasy, but couldn't act well enough to make it seem genuine. I can't believe it. And another says, my justice boner. Rick Seychelles says, am I the only one who is shocked at these numbers? These are indie numbers. McTassel says, not just indie numbers, 2017 indie numbers. Independent Wear says, same. Based on the first paragraph, I was thinking this was a small little two-person operation trying to make ends meet, and then boom, a few videos alone are worth almost $1 million. Haggis Pope says, honestly, it makes sense, but it must cost $10,000 to make a film when you factor in the actors for a couple of days, a few crew members, post-production, insurance, security, etc. So 17 videos is about $200,000. They would make these videos on the basis that they could be highly lucrative over a decade or more, making multiples of the same initial investment. Yes, exactly. A production company just can't let go of assets that are potentially worth that much. 100%. The second top-rated comment is from Annie Droid, and that says, "Not that was not where I expected expected the story to be going." Third top-rated comment is from Fangirl Queen. It says, "I learned a lot about the porn industry today. Thank you, Reddit." Cesius says, "This isn't with any industry. Your rights are within the company you signed for. The trade-off is being you will for sure have a wider audience if you sell your rights to a company versus doing something independently." That's true, but it's great. Sorry, I'm keeping going. Both Why Not Both says, disinformation is the same as lying, but for some reason has a different name, is the top tactic of corporate negotiation warfare, and that's a Martha Wells exit strategy quote. Somebody says Murderbot. Is that the Murderbot thing? All right. One more, and then we're done. This is from Made Me Smile. My sister had her first. Oops. My sister had her first son today, and I caught a rare moment between two fathers. Isn't that sweet? That is. Oh, I'm gonna cry. That's so sweet. Two daddies taking care of their daughters. It's adorable. I love it. Maris Holmes says that love from the older father to the daughter can be felt through the screen. As someone who lost their father at 5, I still remember the feeling of being so loved so fully by my dad. I still feel it every day. So special. Totally sobbing now, but it made me smile. Yeah. You can see my eyes are. Orbital Outlander says that what it's like. I've never felt fully loved by my parents. At best, only love I felt from my parents were when they were in a good mood and had nothing to be pissed off about and they left me alone. Normally, life would be spent tiptoeing, hiding from them, and hoping they didn't notice me. At worst, it was outright abuse. I wondered what it would be like to feel that sort of love. I'm trying my best to give my kids that love, but just by being open with them, but it's hard when you have no idea what it's like. Can relate. I'm sorry, Orbital Outlander. Cheesy Sparkle says, same feeling, different perspective, and life's beautiful moment. And Frosty Algae says, no, I'm not crying. Locom Can says, actually, I am. I'm pregnant for the first time, and my dad passed away 10 years ago. What a beautiful moment would do anything to be able to share it with something like that with mine. Someone says, sending you love, heart, love, strength, and peace. It's a heart emoji, a strength pump emoji, pump and iron emoji, and a dove. Little Witch says, also pregnant and crying because my dad is alive and is not a man I can trust to share in that special moment, which hurts because I still love the man and crave that father figure. But I know in my heart he's not safe for me or my children to be around. That's heartbreaking. Okay. On that sad note, we're going to quit for the day. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll give you a review of the movie. I will try not to spoil it for anyone. So I'm like, don't tell me. So my daughter and my son-in-law are going with us, but they've already seen it. Like, don't tell me about it. All right. Love you, biddies. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. I love you all. Bye. Bye. Bye.